Incredible.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of WWE Exposed. I'm here to tell you that WrestleMania 33 is an Illuminati sun-worshipping process for the pagans. It's called WrestleMania 33 because 33 is a symbol of the Masonic highest rank possible, and not because 33 means it's the 33rd WrestleMania. Anyway, I'm here to tell you about all the different things. We all know that WWE has one openly gay wrestler that they are not using for anything at all. I feel like that's part of the LGBT agenda. They're trying to push it on us. You notice Triple H. If you notice, H is the sixth letter in the alphabet, so that's 3 6s right there. 666. If you notice, the most recent article written about WrestleMania is by a guy named Mark Satin, but I call him Mark Satan. Illuminati. One maneuver called the triangle choke. And of course, the triangle is the pyramid, which is, for the Illuminati. So there we go. Take that, atheist. Leave a comment down below. I'll be coming back with part 47 of my WWE Exposed series. I thank you all for tuning in and watching.
Thank you for watching this special episode of the African American Now Table Illuminati Edition.
Shout out to Godson, our favorite, I guess, our new little white supremacist clone. I don't know, in blackface.
But no, seriously, we just found out about this maybe 20 minutes before he started. This is some dude who thinks that the whole WrestleMania is a whole plot of the Illuminati and shit. It's all the shit Kirk said is in the video.
Literally everything.
All of
Watch
it.
the video.
33rd level Mason, even though it's just it's literally the 33rd edition of WrestleMania, but okay.
But on that note, welcome to a special edition of the African American Announce Table. I'm one of your 4 co-hosts here this evening. I'm Shaq, or at Shaq Excellence on Twitter, and I'm I'm joined by my awesome co-hosts.
I'm Ismail at Lansdale Forever on Twitter.
Mark, Angry Black Homo, also on Twitter and everything else, basically.
James Tiberius Kirk, captain of the Star Trek Enterprise. You can find me on Twitter at ilcapitano94. I will butter your grits.
Oh, God.
Okay, then. Mr. Buddy Your Grits. All right, cool. So as you guys may already know, this past week has been WrestleMania week, meaning that there's been just non-stop fucking wrestling.
So much content.
Literally dozens. And we probably couldn't list all of it. At least 3 or 4 we didn't really recall. If WWE didn't have shit going on, well, they do. But if they didn't have shit, fucking Ring of Honor had shit, Progress had shit, Evolve had shit. Literally constant.
Which
segues. It was really impossible.
Yes. Perfectly.
Into Mr. Ismail's very special edition of Ismail's Indie Corner. What you got, Ish?
Well, like Shaq said, this is a very special edition of the Indie Corner. It's WrestleMania weekend. Whoa, let's get it. Like he just finished saying, I'm just gonna reinforce the point that if the big Fed, if Mr. Vince McMahon didn't have something going on in Orlando this past basically week, then every other indie promotion on the fucking planet did. And I'm just gonna cover some of those events that happened that from the top of my head. And keep in mind that as much as I wanted to go to any of these, I am still in high school and I couldn't because all of these wanted to happen at fucking 12 noon. Anyway,
that's the only way you can have people show up.
Exactly. Prior to the biggest wrestling show of the year on Sunday, we had on that previous Friday, Progress had held an iPay-per-view in Orlando with honestly what I would consider one of the most, if not their most stacked card to date. Um, it's honestly like I just finished saying, all these indie promotions flock to the location of wherever Mania is that year, just to like, you know, capitalize on the Mania hype kind of thing. But like I finished saying, Progress had a really stacked card. They had Pete Dunne versus Mark Haskins for the Progress World title. They had Zack Sabre Jr. versus Jimmy Havoc. They had Tyler Bate versus Mark Andrews for the WWE United Kingdom Championship. Yes, you heard me right. A WWE Championship is being defended on the indie circuit. God damn it. The king of bros himself, Matt Riddle, faced off against Trent Seven for the Progress Atlas World Championship, which is, if you aren't aware, for wrestlers above 215 pounds, if I'm not incorrect. There was, I think that's like all the like really big name matches that happened at that Progress show, but obviously Pete Dunne retained the Progress World title. Tyler Bate retained the United Kingdom Championship. I'm not sure who watched or who won that Jimmy Havoc and Zack Sabre Jr. match, because I want to watch it myself instead of reading off a dirt sheet. But
yeah,
supposedly from some people I know that actually went to the show, it like as much as Progress prides itself on being a like super bare bones like indie promotion, they actually have a good like stage production quality kind of thing going on, and which is surprising because that I'm pretty sure that Orlando show was their debut in North America. Like I'm pretty sure they've been in England, just loyal completely to the UK until last Friday. Like I think that was their first show in America. Supposedly it went off really well, and hopefully that means that they'll either tour or do like semi-frequent stops in the States, because I'm still upset that I missed that one show. And if that's the last time they ever come to the States, I'm gonna be so mad.
Listen, they're getting that WWE money, so
yeah.
there's a chance they might come back.
Next year.
As long as Mr. Tyler Bate is under that Progress umbrella with that WWE Championship, then they're gonna keep that money coming in. Pete Dunne's about to be in a program with Triple H supposedly, along with Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, but that's unrelated.
That's a rumor.
It's a rumor. I'm just saying Pete Dunne is one of the greatest in the world right now. I'm just saying. Aside from Progress, there was Super Card of Honor 11 in Lakeland, Florida, which isn't necessarily Orlando, but it's not too far off. It's Ring of Honor's WrestleMania, basically. It's their biggest pay-per-view of the year. And it took place on the Saturday before Mania, actually. It wasn't too far off, and it was a pretty good card too. Like all these, like obviously all these shows have to like try and match WrestleMania, you know, because you know it's the biggest show of the year. It's like the biggest, most like I guess prosperous season for wrestling in the year.
Yeah.
But as for the match card, Marty Scurll faced Adam Cole for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. Marty Scurll going into it the champion, came out retaining the belt. And I think this is a kind of the beginning of Adam Cole being written off the indie circuit, with him losing the Ring of Honor World title at Wrestle Kingdom this year or winning rather. Yeah, he's coming to the Fed. He's coming to Vince's fucking madman fucking asylum. But like I said, he lost the Ring of Honor World title to Christopher Daniels. He lost this match to Marty Scurll for the television championship. Like I think he's just starting to get written off the indies, and the Bullet Club in general. just because he's coming to NXT and or WWE pretty soon. But that's just speculation, you know. The new Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championships were defended by Bully Ray and the Briscoes, who retained against the Bullet Club in Adam Page, Hangman Page, which, by the way, Hangman Page is literally a white guy that carries a noose to the ring, and I've never been more uncomfortable in my life.
But, it sounds like something in like 1993.
It's really bad. Hangman Page, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Roa in the Gorillas of Destiny faced the Briscoes and Bully Ray for the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team titles, and they lost, which was a pretty good match. I just think the fucking Briscoe brothers and Bully Ray is a weird like mashup, which is like a commonplace thing in the indies now, that for like 3-man teams to be kind of random.
Clearly, by that description, you just have the Briscoes that just randomly Bully Ray for no reason. Where the hell is Devon?
Exactly. Like my man Devon doesn't get any kind of respect anymore. Like I always liked him better than Bully Ray, because we got to support the brothers. But
The brothers.
he, to be fair, he wasn't the most talented of the Dudleys. But in my humble opinion, I don't think that neither of them are too talented without the other. But let me not anger white boy fucking wrestling Twitter right now. There was Jay Lethal versus Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, in a Texas bull rope match. Very 1960s. I haven't watched it, but I heard it's a really good match. Jay Lethal went over, so I'm not entirely too sure about that. But that, considering how hot Cody is on the indies right now, it won't hurt him. Honestly, I think that even losing that match, Cody might as well be, if not the next, the one after that, Ring of Honor World Champion, which is a very bold statement considering how Ring of Honor treats the world title. Like, they treat it like a righteous world title, which is how world titles should be treated. But I think after Christopher Daniels has his run that he finally got after like 20 years, after Christopher Daniels has his run with that title, if it's not coming off to Cody, it'll come off to somebody to transition it to Cody, because Cody's momentum after leaving the WWE and kind of rebranding and reestablishing himself on the independent circuit, like as the American Nightmare with the Bullet Club, all that stuff, is undeniable. And if all these indie promotions don't capitalize on it now, like some people like WCPW are doing when they put the Internet Championship on him, then I think it's a mistake. And Cody is honestly one of the best wrestlers in the world, and now is better time than ever to use him, now that he isn't hypnotized by Daddy Vince's fucking big bucks, big checks, But moving on, there was the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, which are honestly one of my favorite tag teams ever, just based off their run in TNA. When TNA wasn't shit, but that's neither here or there. They defeated Cheeseburger and Will Ferrara and the Rebellion.
I love Cheeseburger.
In a 3-way tag team match. The Rebellion being Rhett Titus and Shane Taylor. Also heard it was a good match. It's always a good match when the fucking Motor City Machine Guns get a W, because Lord knows they couldn't get one over Beer Money in 2010. But after that, we had the singles match I'm skipping a lot, but mostly because only the big matches really matter, and I'm trying to keep it short considering there's so many shows to cover. There's the singles match for the Ring of Honor World Championship between Christopher Daniels and Dalton Castle. Oh my God. I will pay so much money to see Dalton Castle wrestle anyone. Like, he's so good. Dalton Castle is like one of the most eccentric, like one of the most charismatic showmen professional wrestling has seen in the past, like at least 5-10 years. Like, this is excluding people like Shinsuke Nakamura, obviously, but Don Castle's whole gimmick with the boys, with the peacock, like all of it is amazing. He does it so well. He's so good in the ring. He can work on his mic skills a little bit, but so can everyone in the indies, so it's not too damaging to him right now. But it was a good match. I watched it because I plan on taking the opportunity to see every title match Christopher Daniels has as long as he has this belt, because like I said, it took him 15 years to get it. He might as well milk the hell out of it. But yeah, it was a good match. Christopher Daniels went over like he should. He should hold on to that belt until he literally can't wrestle another match. But then the most talked about match, I think, all WrestleMania week/weekend, the ladder match between the Broken Hardys, Matt and Jeff Hardy, versus the Young Bucks and Matt and Nick Jackson. And I say this is the most talked about match in
I wonder why.
WrestleMania weekend, because
You'll preface that with what we'll talk about later.
we'll preface this with we'll get to that. But
Yeah.
the Hardys, the Broken Hardys, walk into the ladder match with the Young Bucks, fresh off a W against them, where they won the titles from the Young Bucks at the previous pay-per-view, and they walk into the match with heavy speculation from literally everybody in the wrestling world saying that the Hardys were coming back to the WWE, either WrestleMania, Raw, or SmackDown afterwards. So honestly, like this match, everybody's eyes was on it, whether they were watching it or hearing to see who won. And lo and behold, the Young Bucks stop the indie leg of the Expedition of Gold, taking back their tag team titles in the ladder match, sending off the Hardys from the indies with a beautiful swan song. They all stood in the middle of the ring, raised their hands together just to see the Hardys go off, which I was thinking about it before the match was happening, and with all these rumors that the Hardys were coming back, I thought, if they lose on Saturday at Ring of Honor, they're gonna be involved in some capacity on some WWE programming immediately afterwards. Like, there's no way that they wouldn't be, and even if they weren't gonna be immediately after, then it was gonna be a mistake, because like well, not specifically they, but specifically Broken Matt Hardy. Yeah, specifically Broken Matt Hardy is arguably, if not the most over person, gimmick, fucking everything in professional wrestling right now. And that is undeniable. Like, at first it was goofy, and I'll admit I wasn't a fan. I thought it was dumb, and then it got over. The delete chants, the fucking final deletion, all of that, all of it. Just Matt Hardy took something of his own creation. Like, nobody helped him with that shit, and he just made it the biggest thing in professional wrestling. Like, I have to commend him. After a career of living in his brother's shadow to a degree, he took like what could be the last run of their career, because like, granted, they're not old, but they fucking like destroy themselves every match basically. But they took the last run of their, like, at least big run of their career, and they like milked it. They did everything they can. They've done everything they could. Like, if it gets any better from here, fucking kudos to them. Like, I am honestly incredibly shocked. Like, I'm astonished that it got this far, and I'm very proud of them. They're some of my favorite wrestlers of all time, but we'll get to that. And as far as the indie corner goes, the last thing I have to cover is just, I guess this isn't necessarily indie, but I'll cover WrestleMania Access, because your boys, myself and Shaq, were in attendance for WrestleMania Access. You
It was
know,
dope. It was so much fun.
it was so lit. You know, I'm not gonna go into like the semantics and the intricacies of the event, but basically you just go.
Recap.
Yeah, you just go to a fucking convention center. You do cool wrestling shit. We fucking met Kevin Owens. God damn it, it was amazing.
Yes, we did.
He smells
Greatest
like
moment of
vanilla, and
my life.
it's so soothing. But we met Kevin Owens. We met our boy Cedric Alexander. Shout out Cedric.
Yo, yeah, shout out to Cedric.
Shout out Cedric.
Introduced him to the podcast, told him about it. Yo,
Yeah.
hopefully, if anything, we can get him to do a message or something.
Yeah,
But,
Cedric
Shout out to
Alexander. Cedric Alexander fucks with the vision. He's down with the boys in the AAA table. It's kind of lit. I'm not gonna lie to you. But besides that, you know, we bought merchandise. Fucking Shaq bought pretty much everything with JR's name on it.
Yeah, I bought his barbecue sauce, bought the seasoning, bought the Chipotle ketchup, and I bought a box of Bootios also.
Oh my God.
To, listen, that shit is good.
I
had some this morning.
I also procured myself a box of Bootios, and mind you, it is $15 for a box of cereal.
Oh,
but God damn it, is it crack? It's so fucking good. Yes, Kirk. Yes.
Kirk.
It's like crack. I
ate the whole box in one sitting.
Bro, it's really bad. It's so good. Like it's a problem. It's $15, but it's worth the $15. Like imagine if Lucky Charms wasn't terrible. Then that's what Bootios are. It's magical, and I love it. And if I can find a store that sells it like regularly, I will be buying a box at least every 2 months.
I'm pretty sure this is the only place they sell them is like FYE, and
Yeah.
there is no FYE in Canada. So this is literally my one box that I have until they eventually ship them over to Canada, which I don't know when that will be. But
Exactly.
for what it is, the box that I have is so good.
It's really
so
good.
Y'all guys,
I commend the New Day for getting a box of cereal over so I could experience that fucking.
Man, they need to get that ice cream over.
They need to get the ice cream over the way
Yeah.
CM Punk couldn't, because I know they can. Like at this point, no offense, they're my boys. I love the New Day, but all they are now is like Vince's cash cow, and they can sell anything he wants.
They're basically salesmen at this point.
Like they're salesmen, and
Yeah.
if they got the cereal,
They're wrestling.
they're gonna get the ice.
It's done.
Yeah, they're gonna get the ice cream over. I know they will. I know they can do it. I'm fully anticipating whatever kind of flavors they got. And like the shirt says it's 100% gluteus free. Like, oh my god, I love Punk. But that's all I got for this special WrestleMania week/weekend edition of the Indie Corner. And moving on to the more pressing matters, the more important shows. Let's get on with it. Diving straight into it.
Yep. And that means it's time to get to WrestleMania. Little something happened before WrestleMania, and that is NXT Takeover Orlando. And why they didn't name it NXT Takeover Homecoming, because they're back in like Orlando, is beyond me. Y'all should be paying me for that shit.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Like, Matt Kirk, God damn it, Kirk. Damn shame.
I didn't hear what you said, so I'm gonna go. I'll be right back.
Cut out.
I'm disappointed in you, Kirk.
I'll be
what
right
I
back.
said.
Man.
All right. We're going to start without you then.
Kirk is taking a hike.
Anyway.
It's gonna take a dump.
Yep.
Pretty much. We'll let him walk off before we continue.
Okay.
There you go.
Anyway. But how y'all brothers doing this evening?
We're good, man. At least I'm good. I'll speak for myself. Let me not speak for Mark. But I'm great. I just woke up from a nap. I'm comfortable. We're gonna be here for a while, so I gotta make myself comfortable. It's been a good day.
Yeah. So nigga, you just thirst trapping all over the place for all the women and whatever.
I had to. Let me let the hair down.
Had to flex the chain and everything too.
Bro, let me let the hair down. No, I'm kidding.
What's wrong with you?
I'll stop. Got to keep the podcast PG so we can get that sponsorship money that we don't have. God damn it.
Please and thank you. Not yet.
Not yet, but we'll get to that.
Also, yeah, eventual merch coming soon. We don't know when yet, but
that's big facts.
We're still in the planning stages of some merch and stuff.
Yeah,
on Twitter and like on the show when that happens.
I have someone working on a design right now for the merch. Kind of going for a simplistic look. Got to get those Pan-African colors. Just teasing a little bit, but shout out to What a Maneuver, the boys at What a Maneuver.
Hey,
for giving us a platform to sell the merch, to push the merch. Also dope content. They live tweet almost every wrestling show, at least big wrestling shows. And they, like I said, they push merch. They promote dope podcasts, dope indie wrestlers. It's cool guys.
Shout out
follow
to What a Maneuver.
Shout out What a Maneuver.
Hey. Also, as we wait for Kirk to come back from whatever mysterious task he's doing, probably taking a shit. But as mentioned earlier, I went to Orlando for Mania, like exclusively for Mania, and it was fun. And got to go to freaking Universal Studios and killed my voice there like 2 days before Mania because I don't do coasters. And I almost died on coasters. Like I was just cursing the entire time because coasters I don't do it. But Harry Potter World is so lit. Oh, dude, I got a fire ass robe. Like I went to the Harry Potter area. We could buy the wizard robes. Got myself the Ravenclaw, robe. Don't ask how much it costs because it costs a lot. But
money's no out.
Got to do that. Exactly.
Where you gotta
exactly. Gotta do what I gotta do, especially if I'm gonna stunt on people with this robe. Really, I called up some friends over. I was like, listen, if y'all come through the house at some point, I'm gonna just wear this robe and I'm gonna just stunt on y'all. Like, listen, I'm the flash nigga in Hogwarts. What it do? Also, I brought me some Chick-fil-A packets because.
Oh man!
Listen, the sauce is so good. I could be the U.S.
We had to shoehorn the Chick-fil-A mention before Kirk shows up and slanders it. God damn it! Kirk not the biggest fan of Chick-fil-A. Thinks it's bland. Thinks it's flavorless. But we're not gonna acknowledge that slander on this fucking podcast. God damn it! Chick-fil-A.
Problematic chicken.
Chick-fil-A is some problematic chicken.
It's the most problematic meal I've ever enjoyed in my life. I've said this from day one. But I was mad at where it comes from, but at the same time, I was like I had a bit of Chick-fil-A chicken with the sauce, with the Polynesian sauce. I was like, why? Why y'all taste so I wanted it to taste mediocre. So I could just not eat it ever again. But first thing I had when I showed up to Orlando was, listen, bring me to a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A is the most problematic of the fast food, even if you can call it fast food chains. And while they have publicly denounced their homosexuality and homosexual roots, homophobic rather. Yikes.
Homophobic, correct.
That way.
I'm sorry, I'm pushing the LGBTQ agenda. The Illuminati is inside of me. But while they have denounced their homophobic roots and their homophobia publicly, I'm sure behind closed doors, it's not much has changed,
Mm-hmm.
But this is not a political podcast, to say the least. We talk about fucking pro wrestling. Damn it.
We're political here. We to an extent.
We're politically charged, if you will. And with that being said, Kirk is back, so we can begin now.
That was a quick
finally.
Don't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Why?
We went over the weekend that they had.
Yeah, just chill. Just talk about my adventures in Orlando.
Oh, all right, that's cool. See, I didn't want y'all to stop the show. I was just gonna be right back.
Hey man,
Man, you went to go
It's a
take a
fam-
doo-doo or something.
Man, no, I had something important to do.
A doo-doo.
doo.
No, I
That
got
was
something to
so
eat. I got the munchies.
Anyway, now we can get back on topic for a second.
All right.
So, live from the Amway Center, it was NXT Takeover Orlando, and the night started off with a correct that, 8-person mixed tag team match. It was Sanity, which is Eric Young, Alexander Wolf, Killian Dane, and Nikki Cross, versus the team of all the faces. So basically, Ty Dillinger, Roderick Strong, Ruby Riott, and Cassius Ohno, who took the place of No Way Jose after he got beat up at Access earlier that same day.
And thankfully, Cash was wearing a tire this time than what we previously saw wearing.
Yep, Cassius Ohno rocking like the Sacramento Kings inspired jersey. But no, it actually looked dope. Like I would consider buying one. Actually, legit.
Listen, man, Cassius Ohno has some like
pretty.
Again, if all those claims that he's racist are true, fuck Cassius Ohno. But if they aren't, and there's no substantial evidence that they are true, dude has some of the dopest merch in wrestling right now. Like they're all sports inspired. Like he has jerseys like customized, custom made on them, and they're like themed after different basketball teams. Like honestly, the shit is dope, and like I would buy that shit. Like Shaq just finished saying he wore that Sacramento Kings inspired attire to Takeover, and while I would have preferred it to be Orlando Magic themed, because they were in fucking Orlando, like regardless, dope. Love Cassius Ohno, but regardless, the match.
The match itself, it was a very decently paced matchup. At first, it started off with Cassius Ohno smacking the shit out of fucking Eric Young and Alexander Wolf, and that's one thing that recurs in like his, at least that I've noticed in his moveset, is basically his strikes are ridiculous, mainly like his punches, because he basically does it like he's throwing a fastball, and it's fucking dope. The match started off with like Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross. They were doing their part of the fight, and it was mainly like just brawling and hair pulling and tossing and stuff. Because they're both kind of like the crazy kind of punk chicks, kind of gimmicks. Anyway, after that, Roderick Strong came in, why he's one of the best fucking technical wrestlers in the world. Did some beautiful ass strikes and drop kicks, a quick ass angle slam, which is super cool and also fitting considering himself. Kurt Angle made it in the Hall of Fame, but we'll get to that later. But after that, it was mostly Sanity just kind of separating him from the rest of the team, just beating the fuck out of him, especially Killian Dane, aka Big Damo. There was a lot. What bothered me was as soon as he got involved in the match, the crowd, because it's the biggest of wrestling fans, like the international audience, they're just gonna chant some shit. And so as soon as he showed up, they're like, "Shave your back, because this man is very hairy." Eric Young got involved, beat up Strong some more. Once Ty Dillinger got in, got some really cool ass moves, like clean ass crossbody and immediately followed by a suicide dive. One thing that really impressed me was that Cassius Ohno, he was about to do like the whole jump over the ring and hit everybody, but they moved out of the way, and so he did this cool ass front flip on his feet and immediately just smacks the shit out of Wolf again. After that, it was near the finish where Nikki Cross got like knocked out of the ring by Ruby Riott, got a drop kick, and Ty was about to go for the tiebreaker on Killian Dane, but he gets knocked in the face by Alexander Wolf, who recovered from his attack earlier, and Dane pins him after he hits the Ulster Plantation, and Sanity wins in 12:30. So it was, for what it was an opening match, just just a big ass mess of a match, but it was still pretty entertaining. A lot of cool spots, and yeah, just a good way to open it. I hope Sanity eventually has a whole like an actual takeover, where by like SummerSlam they win like every major title. So like Young has like the NXT title, Dane and Wolf have the tag, and then Cross has the winner title. It would just look really cool, like a hostile takeover by Sanity. But that's just me. What do you guys think?
I didn't watch this match because I wasn't home from WrestleMania Access in time to catch it. But like I'm a fan of Chris Hero, so I went back and watched it. It was a good match. You know, they had some of the best in the world in this match in Roderick Strong and Chris Hero, also known as Cassius Ohno. And it was just a solid match. You know, good last loss for Dillinger in NXT. But we'll get to that. And just a subtle mention that Big Damo, Killian Dane, does his finisher, the Ulster plantation, is literally the one-winged angel.
I don't like that name.
The Ulster plantation. Like, I don't know what that means.
Anything with the word plantation in there.
I'm not like big white guy doesn't move with plantation in the name. I'm a little uncomfortable, but it's okay. So it's literally a one-handed electric chair driver. If you don't know what that is, it's the one-winged angel. It's Kenny Omega's move. So that gives me a little hope that if Kenny Omega ever comes to the Fed, like we all so desperately want him to, that they won't take the one-winged angel from him. So that's my takeaway from this match, because I always have to relate everything back to New Japan Pro Wrestling. But regardless,
Mark, what did you think of the match if you saw?
I did go back and watch this. I didn't see it when it first aired, but I thought it was a fun opening match. All of the shenanigans and all of the it was fast paced. It was it's not something that I remembered by Monday, but except for the apron, that was just ridiculous. But overall, it was a fun match. It was just it was a good show opener.
Or if you saw it.
Yikes.
Kirk is either quiet or he's still under the substances.
I enjoyed it. Great. Nice dresses, pretty gowns. Great opening. Great opening. Good job. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Kirk. Anyway, following that is the match between Andrade Cien Almas and debuting Aleister Black. And for those who may be familiar with Aleister Black, actually, he was in the WWE UK tournament, I believe. Correct?
Yes, Mr. Tommy End himself.
Exactly. And Tommy, I'll say Aleister Black. Cool ass entrance, because that thing came out looking like from the ground and shit. And one thing I paid attention to, like as I was rewatching this, the commentary, and something that I thought was really interesting was what Nigel McGuinness said, and he said that Aleister Black is trained in a fighting style that's called Pencak Silat, aka the Indonesian martial arts that they use in the fucking raid. So,
oh my God,
he'd probably be in the raid 3 or something. Put him in there, that'd be fucking crazy. But one thing I did like about the match was the kind of contrast in styles, because while they're both kind of like hard-hitting strikers, Almas is very much like a cocky son of a bitch, where he'll do the whole thing where like he'll just post up on the ropes, just chilling, like, hey, I'm better than you. Meanwhile, Black is just super calm and intense and focused. And one move in particular early on in the match that I was like, oh, Black is a bad motherfucker, is when Black throws Almas from the ring, and he's about to do like a whole jump as every freaking wrestler does now. But Almas runs out of the way, so he immediately redirects himself, like in the air, jumps onto the second rope, does a full-on like backflip, lands on his feet, and immediately jumps into that whole meditation pose that he does. And I was like, yo, that was slick as fuck. And but the whole thing was just mainly just striking. One thing that really confused me, and even like Nigel said in the commentary, was that Almas kept focusing on his arms when the moves are all of Black's moves are mainly focused on his kicks. So he's like, why the fuck is he doing that? Like, you moron. Stop focusing on that body part. And but no, he just kept doing that. And then the finish of the match is that they both just kept kicking each other in the face, a lot of knee strikes. And one thing I got confused by the first time I watched it was right around the time that Black hit his finish, which is called the Black Mass, which is pretty much a spinning back kick. You heard a lot of shut the fuck up chants, and I was confused why. And
I heard a story about that.
I found out after when I looked through Twitter and stuff, was that there was a whole section in the crowd that kept doing really annoying European chants. Like I heard a random "you suck," and I was like, oh, okay, that's probably why. And so that section just kept chanting annoying chants, and the rest of the arena just had enough of it. And it's just like, listen, shut the fuck up right during the finish. And I was like, oh, okay. So now that all makes sense. But yeah, Black beat Cien Almas in 9:35. And for what it is, I thought it was a solid debut for Black, just to, kind of showcase what he can do. It wasn't anything particularly memorable aside from the cool entrance and the backflip. But for what it is, it's decent. What did you guys think?
I watched it. Good. I'm not the biggest fan of Cien Almas. I think he's boring. But as for Tommy End / Aleister Black, he's in a climate in wrestling where there's so many talents, especially from the United Kingdom, that are just so fucking talented. He's overlooked a lot of the time, and unrightfully so, because he's really good. He kind of has the generic create a wrestler look to him, where he's covered in tattoos and he has the fucking leather jacket. But I think he's great in the ring. He's athletic. He has at least his new gimmick in NXT has the cool theatrics and everything, which are very important. I hope he never does a promo, because not that he's bad or anything, but I think it would help cement his character. For him to just be mute, like a silent assassin type shit. But yeah, I thought it was a good match. It's a good way to introduce him to the NXT faithfuls after the UK tournament. So yeah, it was a good match. Honestly, one of probably the most forgettable match on the card, but on a card that was as good as it was, it's hard to compete.
That's necessarily a bad thing on that show.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mark, any thoughts?
This is the one match I missed. I didn't get a chance to go back and watch it, so I unfortunately have no opinion.
All right, Kirk. Again with the damn delay. It's when it passes on to Kirk, it's like those news reports. It's we pass a line to a thing downtown.
It's not a delay. I'm just not saying nothing.
Say something when I pass it on to you. Don't leave me hanging, brother.
How about you read the group message, man? Dang. Anyway,
he didn't watch the show.
Anyway, I felt like it was a decent match. Pretty dresses, nice gowns.
How do you didn't watch the show?
When I watched it, it was really good. I liked when one of them wrestled the other, and it just showed their technical ability. So yeah.
And this was the microphone to
so listen, I'm gonna just pass it on to Kirk if I want just some random insight on something that might or may not have happened.
Yeah, that surprise cameo by the wrestler was great.
Okay, so the tag team championship match was next.
Yes, thank you, Mark. Yes, the triple threat tag team elimination match between Authors of Pain, Akam, and Razor versus DIY, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and the Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. Okay, match kicked ass. Oh my god!
Once
Like,
again, the tag team division dominates.
I put a list of just some of the things, like not all of it, but some of the things that just were just so fucking cool. First off, I like the fact that like DIY and Revival had this like very uneasy like alliance because they're just like, listen, we're gonna get demolished by AOP if we do this separately, so let's just try and beat them up together. Um, I like when the like after like the opening brawl when the match slowed down a bit. Tommaso Ciampa tried to go for the tag, and Revival they're like, hey, yo, come to us. It's like, yo, tag us in. And as soon as he showed up, they're like, nah, we just gonna let you get your ass beat. And so after when fucking Scott Dawson got in the match, and he tried to do the same to DIY, they're like, nah, remember what you did. At one point, Johnny Gargano tried to attack Akam and Razor from the outside with an aerial attack, like over the ropes, but they caught him. And then Tommaso Ciampa was like, listen, I'm going to save you. I'm going to try and do a suicide dive to take him out. They're like, nah, we just going to throw you into, we going to throw Gargano into Ciampa and then throw him again on someone else. There's the snap suplex onto Akam, more fucking knee strikes. The top part, the fucking quadruple power bomb onto the table, where Gargano and Ciampa, like they had him on the rope, they're trying to take him down, but Akam was just hanging on to. Sorry, Razor was hanging on to that rope, like he's like, nah, I'm not going through that table, and the Revival just show up and knock him the fuck down. I love the fucking cross finishes that they did, where fucking Scott Dawson and Gargano, they're doing that like knee and kick combo, immediately followed by the Shatter Machine by Dash and Ciampa. That I lost it. Like I was literally screaming, like this is the best fucking tag match I've ever seen in my life. But and every time that like the Revival, AOP, they were out of commission, a Revival and DIY would just go back to each other and just start beating each other up. And that ended up being their downfall because after fucking Dawson does a superplex to Ciampa and everyone else outside, instead of trying to pin the AOP, they get cocky and try to pin DIY, and fucking Authors of Pain take advantage, eliminate DIY, and immediately after that, they just get their ass beat for like 5 minutes. And despite all their might, they couldn't beat the Authors of Pain. Authors of Pain hit them with Super Collider, and they won in 23:50. And this match is a giant fucking clusterfuck, but in like the most organized, best possible way. It is maybe my favorite tag match of the past several years, with the DIY Revival match that we saw at NXT Takeover Toronto. But just 5 stars. 5 stars. 5 stars for me. I fucking loved it. Ish, what'd you think?
I finished saying about the Aleister Black match. That match was the weakest match on the card. This, however, is the strongest match on the card. And I'm willing to bet that the NXT Tag Team Division steals the show at every takeover for the foreseeable future, because honestly, like as long as DIY is on NXT, the tag team division has something to fall back on. I'm not the biggest fan of Authors of Pain because you know that Samoan blood it runs strong. God damn it, they don't sell a fucking move. Very.
That being said, you gotta admit they looked good as fuck in this match.
They did. It was a good match. You know, a good way to write the Revival out of NXT. We'll get to that. You know, I have to mention the cross finisher spot. I thought it was dope. Like Shaq said, with Scott Dawson and Gargano doing DIY's finish, and then the Shatter Machine from Ciampa and Wilder. Good spot. The quadruple powerbomb spot was dope. The superplex, suicide dive kind of combo, not combo, but like fusion was kind of dope. It was a good match overall. I think it played out really well, like storytelling wise, where the Revival decided to be a little cocky and too full of themselves and try to think that they could be the authors of pain by themselves. Didn't work out that way at all, clearly, but you know, the authors of pain won. And I feel like they're gonna hold on to those tag titles for a really long time. Not that I have a problem with it. Like I said, just that Samoan blood runs really strong. They don't sell any kind of offense. Literally, Razor went to that table in the quadruple powerbomb spot, and he was up within like 5-7 minutes. Like he was up really fast. That's
it was during the other spot that I completely forgot, the reverse figure four / crossface. Like he was getting two submissions at once, and then Razor
in the middle of the ring.
Yeah,
he like pretty sure it was Akon, but he got the reverse figure four and the crossface slapped onto him at the same time from Gargano and Gargano and Dawson, and he was in both of those submission moves, like in the middle of the ring for like at least like a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes. Like he was just suffering through it, and then it fucking Razor got up from the quadruple powerbomb spot and broke it up. Like I don't have a problem with the authors of pain. I hate that it happens to be every Samoan wrestler doesn't feel pain. Like it's so reminiscent of Roman Reigns. It's so reminiscent of Dwayne. So reminiscent of fucking Nia Jax. Like, not that there's a problem with Nia Jax because she's bigger than everybody else, but you know, this is the whole thing with the Samoans that they just fucking Superman. It's just like there's no weakness to them. But I mean, whatever. It was a good match. I wouldn't say it was better than the Revival versus DIY 2 at Takeover Toronto, but irregardless isn't a word, god damn it. Regardless, great match. Tag team division stole the show again. You know, yeah.
Mark, additional thoughts?
Match of the night by far, and I would say that is probably the match of the weekend. Yeah. I don't think anything on WrestleMania topped that match. It wasn't better than the DIY versus Revival match in Toronto, but it was close. The whole story between the two of them, the two teams, DIY and Revival, playing off of each other, I thought that was really fun. It was a good little face turn almost moment from Revival. It was good because it showed me that like the Revival could possibly be a face team at some point in the future, and they could make it work, so that they don't have to be a heel team their entire career. But yeah, I think it was a good story, and then like they let the arrogance kind of take over, and then that's what cost them the match. I thought it was a good story. I do think that once DIY got eliminated, the match kind of it deflated a little bit once that happened. I think partially because I knew that at this point the Authors of Pain are definitely going to win. I was sure of it, but it was still enjoyable. Yeah, it was. But yeah, match of the night by far.
Kirk, your analysis, please.
So the women's title match.
Yes, moving on. Thank you, Kirk. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, we have to talk about because we already know.
Anyway, following that was Asuka versus Ember Moon for the NXT Women's title, And first off, I would like to say that I forgot to mention during the tag match, but they were unveiled all new belts for the 3 titles in NXT. And while I love the new tag team belt, I'm not too crazy on the women's and NXT titles.
Agreed.
Like the design looks too much the same.
Well, I didn't have a problem with them being the same because it gives a sense of the women being equal to the men. Like it's the same way with the women's belts on the main roster.
Yeah.
And also I like the fact that now that the women have belts that are like all across the roster, they're all gender neutral belts. It's not like there's no girly quality to any of the belts at all.
That's
so I appreciate that quality of it. But to me, yeah, I agree. The belts are basically they're just average to me. Like they're not bad, but they're like
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But
yeah, those tag team belts are gorgeous.
Yeah. The fact, like, it wouldn't bother me if they looked the same if they actually looked good to begin with.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you mentioned, with like the whole like WWE and women's titles, those titles look beautiful. So I'm like, that's cool. But yeah, these ones they just look really kind of generic. But anyway, moving on from the titles themselves, the match itself, I'm gonna do shit up. I love this match. I just love that it was a big game of one-upsmanship. Like anything you could do, I can do better type shit between Asuka and Ember. Like there was a whole sequence at the beginning where they just kept doing like the exact same moves, like the exact same dodges. They both went for the double drop kick. They both hit hard as hell. Like maybe like one of the hardest hitting women's matches I've seen in a minute, at least from the WWE. Like there's one spot where Asuka like she went for her hip attack, but Ember dodged, and so she got caught on the ropes. And immediately after, Ember hits a mean-ass super kick. Like, super kick at the side of the head. I yelled when that happened.
That concussion, bro.
Exactly. The springboard to outside crossbody that Ember hit was ridiculous. Like, the speed that she hit that with was, like, absolutely insane. The Asuka's second rope German suplex was crazy. The exploder suplex was crazy. They literally just kept hitting each other with like the meanest moves, and it was just so great. But the finish is one thing that scared me because, like, for those who don't know, the finish was that Asuka do her finishing move Eclipse, and so she's on the top rope, and Asuka pretty much did a heel turn and pushed the referee into Ember, knocking her down, and then fucking Asuka did her like mean ass kick to the face and won and retained her title. Asuka's already scary enough and undefeated as a face. As a heel, meaning she's willing to cheat. So meaning we're not gonna see that title off her for a minute, for like a longer time than I thought. And that scares me. But for what it is, I love this match. It's maybe my favorite women's match that I've seen in a long time. Props to both the women for just going hard as fuck for the whole thing. And yeah, but Ish, your thoughts on it?
I thought it was good, a good match. Honestly, one of Asuka's more memorable title defenses because she hasn't had many. She hasn't had many. She had
an equal.
Yeah, she has no equal on the women's roster in NXT right now. Ember Moon was the closest thing, and she beat her. So like, what's next? But not the point. One of Asuka's most memorable title defenses, because she is undefeated. She hasn't lost a match yet. At least she hasn't been pinned or submitted. But neither has Ember Moon until she lost to Asuka. It was a great match, super hard hitting. Kind of played to Asuka's strengths a little bit. To keep the strikes that rough, I guess. I think honestly the wrong woman won because I'm really
disappointed by it.
I'm really starting then, not because this is the African American announce table and because Ember Moon's black. Don't fucking troll me, you fucks. But
that's good enough reason, honestly.
It is, but
Yeah, that'll do it for me.
It'll do it for the four of us, but for me, at least in this specific instance, I think the wrong woman won because at this point, if Asuka can't beat Ember Moon without being a dirty heel and pushing the ref into the ropes and fucking up the Eclipse, like if she can't beat Ember Moon without that, then it kind of makes Asuka look like her whole like build to this point kind of starting to slow down a little bit, and it's kind of evident. That and like if she hasn't lost at this point, who's going to beat her? Because unless, and before Shaq says it, unless they bring Candice LeRae to NXT, then no woman like fucking I can't even name any of them off the top. Peyton Royce, like Liv, whatever her fucking name, Liv Madison.
No.
Well, they brought some new women. There was a couple of, there was Kimberly, and then there was
that's true.
I forget her previous name, but the girl is Ruby now. So those two could be
Ruby Riott. Is like to go back to that. I still think Ember could win. I think the way that it played out.
I think I was gonna get to that. Yeah.
It's like, okay, Mark, I'll let you expand on that.
Yeah. So yeah, that was definitely that was the women's match of the weekend by far. I think I appreciate what they did with it story-wise, because my prediction going into it was that Ember was going to get the win, but I think the way that they went about it was actually very deliberate, and there was actually a good reason for it, because one, it gave Ember that needed push to give some credibility, to say that okay, this is someone who's she's legit, she's the real deal, and she has kind of a story behind her, because she there's good reason to really get invested and care about her, because up until that point she never really had much of a feud, she never really had much of something that she could really sink her teeth into, and now that okay, she has an angle oh, I'm good enough now, the Empress of the division had to cheat to beat me, so I have I have something that's it's to my character now. And also it gives I think it actually I don't think it really hurt Asuka as much as it gave her a really good bit of character development, that oh, now she's made her match, now she has somebody that she has to cheat to win. And then also I think it complements the fact that she had such a big head over the last few months. She's gotten really arrogant, she's really feeling herself lately, and she had to kind of keep up that facade in some way. She didn't want to have to eat crow, so oh, I'm just gonna have to cheat to win. So I think story-wise, it was actually really interesting the way it was a small thing, but it was really it accomplished a lot and kind of moving the story forward. And I don't think it's necessarily that, oh, okay, now so I'm somebody else, and then she's just going to keep steamrolling over the division. I actually think it's going to be Ember who's going to dethrone her, but it's going to be they set a story to get to that point. And I think the way they're doing it now is actually way more interesting than the way that they would have gone about it had Ember just won it right away. So I think, I feel like she's probably going to win in Brooklyn at SummerSlam weekend, and I think it's going to be way more interesting that way, because now they have this different dynamic, that now that Asuka's willing to cheat to win, she's willing to actually be a flat out heel, and then we know now that Ember is actually an equal with Asuka, and she can actually stand up with her. So I think it just depends on how they build it up between now and then, but I think it can actually be a really interesting moment, and it could actually reignite the women's division, because Lord knows they need something interesting to happen. So
yeah, especially I think it also helps that when assume this storyline pays out at the SummerSlam takeover. That summer they also recently announced that they're doing a women's tournament.
Oh yeah,
so if anything,
True.
that could also lead to some very interesting. Like once that's done, that could also lead to some interesting like personalities and wrestlers in the division,
Yep, a nice little
and
influx.
bring some new cool storylines.
Candice
Yeah.
LeRae.
Yes, yes. Also, WWE, please bring in Candice LeRae and just have her smoke everybody, please, because she is that good. But that's my dream. I won't even pass it on to Kirk because he's gonna probably come up with some bullshit. But
Are you still awake?
following,
Nice gowns, pretty dresses. 10 out of 10.
gowns.
Oh, man.
Anyway, but yeah, before the main event, there was a brief appearance by one Drew McIntyre, aka Drew Galloway,
yeah.
and it was really interesting to see like, what the hell are you doing here? And it turns out he just recently got signed to NXT, so it'll be good to see him again in a non-3MB format. Hopefully, he gets his old theme song back because that theme song is actually really good.
Yeah, it's
But,
kind of cool to see the whole story. Like, WWE fucks over a guy. He goes off on his own, finds his way. WWE realizes what they gave up, and then they bring him back. So, yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. He'll be in NXT, not on Raw. Plus.
Exactly. I mean, it's not the ex who like they mistreat you, and then when you leave, they do better. Basically, the hotline bling of like every single thing. Because like, literally, if you look at the lyrics, it's basically the wrestlers like, yeah, just when they leave, they're doing better. They're getting better. Wow, fucking bubbling up everything. But you get what I mean. Fucking hotline bling and shit. Fucking song sucks, but analogy still fact. But anyway, main event. Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura for the NXT title. For what it is, I wasn't too crazy about the match because I wasn't too hot about the last one. Like I enjoyed it, but I think it could have been better. And this one was kind of very similar, where it was a very good. Like they're both really good wrestlers, and I enjoyed like the back and forth that they had, especially when Bobby Roode is like mostly focusing on like that knee he fucked up from the last match. I did enjoy that. But for what it is, yeah, it was just kind of more the same. The finish where Nakamura went for the Kinshasa, but Roode reversed it for the chop block on that knee. That I thought was actually pretty brutal for what's ostensibly a really simple move, but the way that came off was just it felt really brutal. And then Bobby Roode going for that glorious, like he went from the second rope, did kind of like a rolling glorious DDT. I thought that was a pretty dope way to finish. It was 28-20, so it was the longest match on the card as expected. But for what it is, it was good. But still, I don't know what's not hooking me about these two as much as it should. But it is what it is. What do you guys think, Ish?
Really quick because I didn't get my shit in about the belts earlier.
Yeah, go ahead.
What should have happened was they give the women the new belt, the gender neutral belt, and then they kept the heavyweight title, the men's heavyweight title, the same. Like because now, like they both look the same, which I understand the point of it, like kind of symbolizing that the women should be treated equally to the men, which I completely get. I completely understand that. But the thing is, like, in doing so with at least the NXT titles, they made the heavyweight title, at least in my opinion, look less important. It looks less like a heavyweight title. It looks like a TV title to me now. Like they could have like made it bigger and thus make the women's title the same, or give the women the same belt and give the men a more, I guess, impressive looking belt just to signify that it's a heavyweight title. Like the main roster executed it perfectly in the sense that all the belts look like the WWE heavyweight title. Like that's perfect. That's like fine. I'm over the fact that they all look the same. Like that's I'm past that. I'm beyond that. But like with the new NXT titles, I think the tag team titles overshadow the singles belts.
by far.
Well, the tag matches overshadow the singles matches.
Touche,
So it's like it's reflecting.
touche. And like even like with the singles belts, like they're literally the same design, just that the women have silver accents on their belt and the men are all gold. Like I don't know. I don't feel the same way I do about the main roster belts that I do with NXT. Maybe I have a higher standard for NXT, or I expect more from them, but I don't know. The belts were kind of underwhelming, but regardless, the match, great match. At least from a technical standpoint, you know, I love anything Shinsuke Nakamura does. One of my top 5 wrestlers of all time. The showmanship, the entrances, the fucking attire, the moveset, the charisma, all of it. Shinsuke Nakamura is the ideal, perfect, all-in-one package. Anybody, like, I would pay to watch Shinsuke Nakamura wrestle a plastic bag, but you know, like Shaq said, there's something about this feud with Bobby Roode that I can't necessarily get too invested in, and I'm thinking is that Bobby Roode is just a little boring.
Just
And I say that
only a tad bit, not
only a little bit.
Not entirely, but like I think like the two, because Shinsuke has so much personality, and then like as much as I love Bobby Roode, like the two of them, like at least in ring wise, they don't really mesh that well.
Yeah, like their styles contrast really heavily with the strong style and like the kind of clear cut all American technical wrestling. But like as far as Bobby Roode goes, like the entrance, the music, it's over. Yeah, but in the ring, on the mic, like as a character, he's literally his gimmick from TNA is if that Bobby Roode did the fusion dance with Ric Flair. Like that's literally what it is. Like I don't know. I can't really get behind Bobby Roode like that. I'm not sure if it's just like the way he wrestles isn't captivating enough for me, or if his gimmick is just a little boring. Like I don't know what it is, or maybe it's just that like I don't know. Even Shinsuke can't make him look that good. Because like think about it, like with Joe isn't the most fucking captivating gimmick either. Like he's just a guy that likes to fucking fight people, but Shinsuke made that look good because like that's just their thing. They just didn't like each other. You felt that with Joe and Nakamura, and Joe just plays heel so well that you just want to dislike him or root for the other person in the equation. And that's evident of his run on the main roster as well. But the over Orlando, it was a decent match. Good way to write Shinsuke off NXT, but we'll get to that. I think it should be protected because it's literally a running knee strike to someone's dome. Like that, like nobody should be kicking out of the Kinshasa. But the glorious DDT. I think Bobby Roode needs a new finish. I think Nikki Bella should give him his finisher back. But the way he pulled off that last DDT, you know, doing like the whole tornado kind of thing where he like rotated off the second rope, landed, and then did the impaler. I think it was a cool little sequence. But yeah, that's the main thing that bothers me with this Bobby Roode feud is that he kicked out of the Kinshasa like 4 times. But that's neither here or there. It was a good match.
All right, Mark, additional thoughts?
Personally, watching it, it was a good match. But I'm like, honestly, I'm just like, you talk about Bobby Roode and his character. I'm personally just bored by everything he does. His entrance is good only because of the audience participation, and also the piano players this time were pretty cool. The song definitely gets stuck in your head. It's still stuck. But the match itself just I don't want to say okay. I don't want to say it bored me, but I also was like for it to be like the main event match, like the headlining match of a show. I was kind of like, yeah, okay. It was. I mean, it's fine, but honestly, like nothing Bobby Roode does just captivates me. Nothing he does interests me. I'm just like, okay, why are you here?
Yeah.
Like, and I can't blame any of that on Nakamura because I mean, like he and Samoa Joe tore the house down when they went, when they went against each other.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, like, I don't think it's even really a thing of like conflicting styles because I'm like, on paper, someone like Bobby, who's like more of like a mat-based and technical kind of wrestler, that should work really well off someone like Nakamura, who's more like a showman, right? But it doesn't in execution it doesn't really work, and I think it doesn't work because Bobby Roode's just not that interesting of a performer. Like, I'm just kind of like, eh. So I mean, like, yeah, I mean, it was a decent match. It was fine, but I mean, as far as like something to headline a show with, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but overall, I still really enjoyed NXT Takeover. Like at this point, we just like I gotta stop underestimating these NXT Takeovers because like I stopped watching NXT like on a week to week basis like a long time ago because like it's usually just kind of dull. But like when the actual takeovers happen, they're all like almost always like all really good. Like I feel like there's only like maybe one of them that really wasn't good. And even then it was still like better than the pay-per-view that like preceded it. So like for what it is, it's still a really, really good show. I enjoyed it.
Takeover is still a pretty damn good show. So
exactly. And so like that tag match and that women's match, I fucking adored it. I adored them both. And for what is like, yeah, it was a good show. What you guys like? Any final thoughts?
I think like NXT like in general has been in a slump for a bit. Hasn't been as strong as it once was. The takeovers are still like particularly have some memorable moments. But I think this one was just a little weak. It was lacking in those special moments, like especially like I mean on a weekend such as this, it was kind of hard to compete with the atmosphere and all that. But it's unlike last year in Dallas where NXT Takeover outshined Mania because this Mania happened to be particularly good. But
Yeah.
it was a good show regardless. I'm not gonna shit on it too much. I just think NXT needs another or just rebranding kind of thing,
Well, I think what really hurt NXT was the brand split and how like half the damn roster got called up at the same time. And then also the fact that like they had one. I mean, like we also have to consider like NXT ultimately its purpose is to be a developmental program. So it's not like ideally it shouldn't be like, the show-stopping brand. It shouldn't be out doing what Raw and SmackDown are doing. So ultimately, like, yeah, NXT is in a bit of a slump, but I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing. Like, I feel like it should be like a good product, but it shouldn't be like the show-stopping product, like compared to what the main roster is doing. So I don't really see it as a problem. I do think that with the stuff they have coming, with some of the new signees and like the women's tournament and all that, I do think that, and also the fact that like the tag team division is one of the few things they're getting right at the moment. I do think that we might see the next era of it, kind of like a new bubble might be starting up at this point. So I probably by Brooklyn we'll probably see like a really interesting product, but also like I'm not too worried about it. Like I just feel like it's a developmental program. It's supposed to be feeding the main roster, and in that aspect, is doing its job. So
Yeah.
that's just kind of how I see it. But yeah, I mean, like it was a good show. Like I said, like a mediocre takeover is still going to be a pretty good show. So yeah, it was. I enjoyed it.
Agreed.
Final thoughts of the show that you definitely saw. Probably gonna say something about gowns again. You know, I'll just let him, think about them damn gowns and dresses and shit.
Nice
Oh,
gown.
man, it's
Fitted dresses.
There you go.
Great match. Great match.
All right. All right. Awesome.
Okay, let's go straight.
I'll talk about the show as a whole, but anyway, let's go to some shit that you actually probably saw.
Maybe.
The big one. The show of shows, the showcase of the Immortals, the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania. Oh,
WrestleMania was this weekend?
Yes, it was.
What?
Yeah, it's such a minor show. Like no one ever really talks about it.
little indie promo, little thing. In this case, not WrestleMania 33 since they stopped doing numbers anymore. It's now WrestleMania Sun. So yeah,
it's a sun worshiping
festival.
It's your boy Godson.
Illuminati.
You have to put your eye in the middle of the, you have to put your eye in the middle of it.
No, that's only what the Illuminati members would do. I'm not one of them. I'm Godson.
But anyway, start off with the pre-show real quick. The first match was for the Cruiserweight Championship, and it was Neville versus Austin Aries for the Cruiserweight Championship. This match was really, really fucking good. It was it told a really good story. It was really fucking technical. I did this one I had to rewatch a little bit because there were some spots that I missed. There's like a bunch of like cool dives. Actually, no, the finish was it had maybe the best finish out of pretty much all the matches I think on the card that evening, where when Aries hit the last chancery on Neville, and he was so close to actually winning, but Neville rakes him in the eye. And for those who don't know, Austin Aries literally just gotten like an eye surgery maybe like a couple weeks before, like he had just finished. And then Neville, he hits the red arrow and retains in 50-40. But no, I really did dig the match. Yeah, for what I mentioned earlier, just like it was really technical. Story just progressed and everything. I enjoyed it. Ish, you were also there with me, live in the audience for this.
I was, we weren't close or far, but it was a good experience. But as for the match itself, I thought it was dope. I was kind of upset that Cruiserweight match to date was relegated to the WrestleMania pre-show, but that's like inevitable. It was a good match. I kind of scenarios to win. But I also don't have a problem with Neville continuing the reign of terror as king of the cruiserweights either. But it was a good match, good finish. I think them kind of selling that the Red Arrow is the be all end all of Neville's moveset is smart. Because with him incorporating the rings of Saturn and stuff into his moveset, and him only pulling out the Red Arrow to beat those people that he knows he can't beat, I guess lackadaisically, I think that's a good selling point on Neville's whole character. But yeah, I thought it was a good match.
All right, Mats.
In terms of work rate, I actually thought this was the best match of the night. I like Neville's just really owned this character in such a the best way possible. He embraces it, and also Austin Aries, he's a surprise. I wasn't expecting him to actually work well as a babyface because he's just such a natural asshole. But but we're in Trump's America, so people like white men who are assholes here. So I mean, it works. I guess. in Trump's America, you can be a white man who's an asshole and like people will love you. Well, okay, that was true even before Trump, but like,
Yeah, I was gonna say this is briefing.
but no, like I mean, like it was a really good match though. Like, I was like pleasantly surprised by a few things, like you know the 450 spot, the continuity with Neville raking the eye and like gouging the eye out and all that type of shit. Yeah, I mean, like I think that like unfortunately nothing really outdid that match from a work rate perspective that night. But you know, it is what it is. It was a good match to start off with.
Kirk, first question. Did you actually watch the pre-show?
Yeah, I actually watched the pre-show.
Okay, so you actually watched it. You gonna talk about no gowns or nothing?
But I did miss this match.
I did miss this.
Do what?
But I did miss this match.
Of course.
So you're gonna talk about them gowns again. Okay. Anyway, next up was the goddamn Andre the Giant Battle Royale.
All right, here we go.
Let's get all of our mid and low card people all in one match and just give them a payday by getting them involved. And so there was a bunch of people, like again, like 30, it was like 30 something.
Recap this, do we?
Yeah, literally, I'm just trying to do as best I can. I only had two people I was rooting for, and that was Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman. Shout out to Braun Hive, you know what it is. And Sammy got eliminated with no fanfare, so I didn't give a shit. That's why I was upset. Big Show was still involved and relegated to the Andre the Giant Battle Royale because he was supposed to have a match with Shaq, not me. I mean O'Neal. And that didn't pan out because O'Neal's out of shape. But listen, had they called me, I would have done it. I would have gotten in shape to fight Big Show because I historically cannot stand Big Show. Y'all can see like any other episode where we've mentioned him.
Too bad he has the greatest match of the PG era with Sheamus at Hell in a Cell 2011.
Oh my god. Not this again.
I'm just mad that y'all, like, I've been doing this for like so many episodes now, and y'all still think I'm joking or trolling about it. Like, I'm serious.
I just don't care.
Such a good match.
Listen, Kirk is like that old man. Like, listen, in 1972, I would have done this and this and this.
Listen,
Look, have y'all seen Fences? Like that part where Denzel was like, "Listen, man, fuck Jackie Robinson. I gotta beat Jackie Robinson." That's that match is great. Y'all wrong.
Match is great. Match is fantastic. This is terrible.
This is a little unrelated, but literally, I was in English the other day because, like I said, I'm still in high school. I'm actually 12, but my English teacher, because Mania weekend, so the WWE had to do their publicity, their public events and stuff. So the WWE came to my school for a special Olympics basketball game, which was dope. You know, dope cause, dope event, dope experience. And they brought out AJ Styles, Big Show, Mark Henry, Dana Brooke, and the Fink, at least as notable names go. And prior to that event, my English teacher, like, she didn't know anything about wrestling, so she Googled like pro wrestling, and as a matter of fact, the first match that shows up in the video section on Bing is that Big Show and Sheamus match. So I don't know how
Kirk Rig Bing.
I don't know, like,
well, it's big, but it's not that hard to do.
Exactly. Like, I don't know how that goes to show for credibility, like Bing wise or for the match wise, but like, you know, I mean, whatever.
Great match, Sean. It's a great match.
I believe you. We believe. I've seen the match. It's actually not bad.
Anyway, God damn it. You just give Kirk credence, and I don't like this. But, anyway, the stupid match of the stupid match.
Oh God!
But at the beginning of the match, you knew something was up because they announced that Rob Gronkowski of the New England Patriots. By the way, fuck the Patriots. Yeah, he was in attendance, and everyone, as a lot of people know, Mojo Rawley and Rob Gronkowski, they're buddies. They've been buddies for a long time, and so near the finish, where it was only like 3 people remaining, and it was Mojo Rawley, Jinder Mahal, still looking like Roy D. Magoo. And surprisingly enough, Killian Dane from Sanity. He had actually been in the match and actually did a pretty solid showing in the Battle Royale. And so when it was the 3 people left, Jinder threw Mojo through the middle rope, and we all screamed, "Why the hell did you do that? Why not through the top rope?" And he got out of the ring a bit and started walking towards Gronk, and everyone knew where this is going. He throws a drink in Gronk's face. Gronk steps out, gets involved, goes outside into the ring area.
The one security lady.
Shout out to that security guard who didn't know that it was a work. And so I was like, he was actually getting involved. But yeah, he goes and pretty much does the pounce on Jinder Mahal, which is weird, but alright. Yeah, after that, Mojo eliminates Dane and Mahal, and Mojo Rawley is the winner of the Andre the Giant Battle Royale trophy. If this trophy can be any more of a freaking joke, 15 minutes and 7 seconds of my life gone.
Honestly.
And waste of a match. As it is, it's only there for a paycheck, but that match is a joke. And they gave it to a person who's also a joke because WWE loves having that mainstream celebrity involvement. So that was their way of just doing that and getting that out of the way. But the match, fuck Mojo, fuck Gronk, and fuck the Patriots. Stupid fucking Super Bowl match. Fuck y'all. I'm done.
Oh, God. It was like Shaq said, I was rooting for Sammy and Braun Strowman. They both got eliminated kind of early into the match, honestly. Literally the last 2 were Jinder fucking Mahal and Mojo Rawley, literally.
You could have 2 better choices.
Yeah.
But I rooted for Jinder at that point.
I did.
I was like, please, not Mojo.
It was all right, I guess, just to fill up the space before the main card started. I'm upset that they've relegated the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy to like a joke, literally at this point. Like literally Mojo Rawley won the shit. It started with Cesaro.
Cesaro. It started with Cesaro and just plummeted from year two on.
Honestly. And like Shaq said, WWE loves their mainstream celebrity appearances, Rob Gronkowski, you bastard. I fucking hate the Patriots. I'm an Eagles fan, I have to hate the Patriots.
I don't even watch football aside from the 1 year where I watched the Super Bowl. And I historically hate the Patriots. Like they're the team that if they showed up in the Super Bowl, I would just go against because they're just a bunch of assholes and douchebags. And so
exactly.
Fuck them.
Fuck the Patriots. Gronk, the one security lady that didn't know it was a work, tried to stop him. I thought that was funny. And just to touch on another celebrity appearance, this happens after the first match on the main card, but I'm going to mention it now because it's not as important because she wasn't involved. But Superwoman, Lily Singh.
That was cool that she was
the love of my life.
Because I like Superwoman.
Also showed up on camera. I agree with Kirk. The love of my life. Oh my God, she's gorgeous. I love her content. She's great.
Her Power Rangers video was hilarious.
She's amazing. She showed up on camera.
It is great.
Because WWE loves their mainstream media. As mainstream as being a YouTuber can be, but I just wanted to
she's like one of the biggest YouTubers in the world. So like that would make sense.
Yeah, and
But,
I think they put her on camera only because she's like collabed with The Rock before, but
that's true. And also, like they showed Jimmy Fallon. And I don't
yeah.
fuck with Jimmy Fallon no more, so I'm just like, move. But Mark, did you have any additional thoughts on this stupid battle royal?
Nope. If they're not gonna take it seriously, I won't.
Kirk, what do you think of the damn battle royal?
It was crap. And screw the gown, screw the dresses. I just didn't enjoy it.
Facts.
Facts. Anyway, the third match on this pre-show. Keep in mind, we haven't even reached the main show yet. This match is what's it called? The Intercontinental title match. Dean Ambrose versus Baron Corbin. I have literally only 2 notes for this. It's really boring match because the way it finished was that Ambrose was Corbin went for the end of days, and you know how it looks. How it looks like he's about to receive a rock bottom. Basically, him and immediately hit the he immediately hit the Dirty Deeds and pinned him at 10:55. I have literally nothing to say about this match because it was a nothing match. What do you guys think? What do you guys have to say?
I think it was dumb that they gave Corbin the rub on SmackDown in the street fight when it didn't matter, when it wasn't for the belt, instead of giving it to him at Mania and the IC title. What the fuck? Like Dean Ambrose, he's Vince's like fallback guy at this point. Like he's reliable.
Oh yeah.
He's always going to be over with a mainstream audience, and I get that, and I understand why you would want to keep the belt on him. But Baron Corbin needed that W at Mania, and they didn't give it to him. It was literally like a 10-minute match. It was so boring, and he got pinned to 1 Dirty Deeds. Like Dirty Deeds is the most protected finish in the company.
To be fair, Dirty, it's protected as hell. Like other than like Red Arrow.
Exactly. Like, come on, man. It's just a double arm beating. Oh my god, whatever. It was whatever. It's whatever.
Any thoughts on this match?
So I missed the match because I had to go to a meeting, and I did not feel like going back and watching it because why the fuck would I do that to myself? So I have no thoughts on this one either.
All right, Kirk, do you have any thoughts at all on this match?
No. Well, honestly, it just kind of sucks because I like out of the 3, out of Shield when they originally started, I don't know why, but Dean Ambrose is my favorite. Not because of like what he was currently doing, but I just feel like he had potential, and he was getting there, and then he won like the belt for the first time, and I was like, yeah. But then he's like continued to just become so boring to me. And this match, it was no different. It was just pretty boring.
Yeah, kind of exemplifies the whole thing,
I think
pretty much.
Like Dean Ambrose, it's more like I think people like the idea of Dean Ambrose more than the actual execution of him.
Yeah.
Because once he finally got that, it got really boring.
It's not as much that as he's kind of got complacent.
Yeah.
Or he's just like he's happy to be there, so it's like he'll do his job. There'll be that point where like unless he's really motivated, that he'll step up and like do like the stuff he used to do like right when he started going solo. Like I don't think we'll get that enough for a while. Actually pushes him to do that. But until then, we'll just get more nothing matches and nothing feuds. It's just basically like a placeholder for that IC title.
I want to put it in the most simple way that I can. Dean Ambrose has become the Drake of the WWE. Literally, he like he's gonna get the rub. He's gonna get the paycheck. He's gonna get the attention and the pushes, the titles. He's gonna get all of it. He's gonna get the success, regardless of how good or bad he is, because the casual audience fucking loves sucking Dean Ambrose. I don't understand why, because at this point it's a little boring. But I think, like Mark said, his like the idea of him is more enticing than the actual like execution, because like just that character, that rebellious kind of like crazy like mankind kind of character is like to be desired always.
Well, there was the Steve Austin comparison.
Exactly.
Mhm.
There's always a Steve Austin. No one's ever gonna be Stone Cold,
Yeah.
but everybody's gonna try. Like, and Dean Ambrose tries, but just he doesn't connect too well with it.
Mhm.
And I think that's his thing. It's like he needs to change something up. He needs to turn heel or something because he's a little stale. And I think like
Yeah.
him, his thing is like he wins the big feuds, but he gives the rub when it doesn't matter. Like he's becoming Cena in like '09. And I don't know. I'm not entirely too big of a fan of it because I kind of like Dean Ambrose, and I think I know he can do so much better. It's kind of it's more. I'm taking it a little personally, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, time to get to the actual show. Like now, this is the rest of it is the actual main card. First off, there was an intro by the New Day because they're the WrestleMania hosts, and they were all dressed up as Final Fantasy characters because Final Fantasy 14 was sponsoring the show. And it's not something I paid attention to because we were live and stuff, like we were in the audience. When I rewatched that opening intro, my God, one of the cringiest things Michael Cole
Michael Cole.
ever said
Fuck.
in his life. Because
I love
he had no idea of any of these fucking Final Fantasy characters. He was like you could audibly hear him cringe as he's saying this. He's like, oh, I think I saw Moogle and Chocobo. And he has no idea what the fuck any of that means. But,
Christ.
yeah, it was cool seeing all that stuff, but like, man, like that whole thing. That cringe is awful. But jumping off from that, the first match was surprisingly, I didn't think this would end up being the first match, but it was. Shane McMahon versus AJ Styles.
I'm actually not surprised that one went on first. Like in hindsight,
I guess. But for what it is, I really did enjoy this match. This might be my second. Like, I think it's not the. I think it's actually the second best in terms of work rate, like behind Neville and Aries. But it might be like out of the main cards, probably my favorite match of the night. Shane got a lot more technical than I thought, than he thought he would, because usually, like his offense consists of jumping off of stuff and doing those really terrible punches that he still did those punches. He actually pulled in like a couple like surprising maneuvers that I didn't think he'd do. When it got to like the spot fest that it usually like Shane McMahon actually does, they're actually really good. Like Shane, what the hell is that? But oh, it's all good. Guns in tight. But yeah, Shane did like the elbow drop on the table that AJ dodged. AJ went for he tried to be cocky and went for that coast to coast because took out the garbage can. And Shane reversed it. He threw the freaking garbage can at him. And then, except no substitutes, made sure he showed him how it's actually done. And so he did the coast to coast. But the thing that blew my mind, maybe my favorite spot out of the whole like show, was when Shane went for a freaking shooting star press and did it better than Brock Lesnar ever could, and missed.
Well,
and AJ capitalized.
Better than Brock didn't surprise me.
Literally,
Yeah,
like
the fact that keep in mind he's like almost a 50-year-old man and did a super clean
Well, I mean,
shooting
yeah,
star
but Brock
press.
moves like a 50-year-old man, so.
like
Mhm.
yeah,
So AJ countered with the phenomenal forearm and then went to 2035. And then yeah, Ish, what you want to say just now?
it was a great match. For the lack of a better term, Shane was in his bag. You know, he pulled out the technical wrestling. I think he should stop doing those dumbass punches. But he out wrestled AJ for the first like kind of quarter of the match, which I thought was a good way to, I guess, set up for AJ. Like it just made AJ's victory a little more important, I guess. And then
That's for being the best wrestler on the freaking planet.
exactly, and it was a good match. I just want to touch on the shooting star press spot. Literally, um, we were like we've mentioned already on the show before. Shaq and I were there live, and as soon as AJ landed in the position for like a top rope move, I turned to Shaq and literally word for word, I'm like, "Yo, Shane's gonna do a shooting star press," and Shaq kind of just laughed at me, and I was
Yeah,
like,
because I didn't think he'd actually do it. I was like, that's not happening.
he's gonna do the shooting star press, and I was joking, and then he actually did the shit. I was like, oh my god, like Shane McMahon is 47 years old. Thunder Liger is 52. That is a 5-year age difference. Like Jushin Thunder Liger hasn't done the fucking shooting star press in like 7 years.
Hey, watch your mouth though. Watch your mouth though, because Thunder Liger is the greatest wrestler of all time. Just watch your mouth. Just watch your mouth. Just watch your mouth now. That's all I'm saying. Watch it.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying it speaks to the impressiveness that Shane is still doing moves
Right.
like
I
that
understand. I agree.
at 47. Like that's crazy. And like it wasn't even a bad shooting star press. Like it was gorgeous. Honestly,
It was clean.
it was pretty clean. Like he missed, sure, but still, it was pretty clean. Paul London would be proud of him. But it was a good match. It was a good match. Oh, this is unrelated, but now that I say Paul London, like dude literally like cracked his skull open, by the way, like a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That sounds
Yeah.
pleasant.
There's a picture of it on Twitter for those listening who want to look at it. I have to give the trigger warning because it is kind of gross and blood, gore, the whole shebang. But just a little tidbit about Paul London and shooting star presses. Great match though. Shane and AJ really stole the show.
But Mark, your thoughts? Additional thoughts?
It was a fun opener. The way I don't know if I expected Shane was going to get that much offense, but also, of course, he was. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, I expected Shane to do a lot of because that's what he does. If anything, he was a bit subdued. But yeah, I agree. The shooting star press was that was a good surprise. It was, a fun surprise, and I think it capped the match off really well, especially because I think we all knew the coast to coast is probably going to happen. We probably knew that the table spot was going to happen. So I think that the shooting star press was okay, something new to really get people off their. It's oh my god, that was an amazing spot. But also, I think it speaks to AJ because he got a really memorable match out of Shane McMahon, which is just it's what AJ does. So yeah, it was a good opener.
All right, Kirk, your thoughts real quick?
Yo. Oh man,
what do you think of the AJ Shane match?
Oh man, it's one of the. I think I want to say it's either my first or second favorite match of the night. The match that it's tied with, we'll get to. Y'all won't agree, but it's one of my favorites.
Okay.
But I think one moment that I don't know if y'all mentioned or not, but that freaking arm styles clash thingy that happened.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Bro. Oh my god. Yo.
That was nice.
The sound clash was insane.
Although I do want to mention, Shane McMahon is now the new king of stealing sequences and spots because literally the 450 into the triangle is a Zack Sabre Jr. spot verbatim.
Yeah.
And
still, you didn't expect it from Shane freaking McMahon.
Yeah, and the what Kirk just mentioned, the style AJ picked Shane up out of the triangle choke. And Styles clashed him with one arm hook. That's a spot from AJ and Nakamura's Wrestle Kingdom match from 2 years ago. But I'm not gonna shit on Shane too much. It was a good match. I expected so much less of him, so I'm not gonna
Exactly.
discredit him.
I can't. No, that 415 is a triangle choke. That was he survived by the time that came out of nowhere, and he hit that perfectly. That's what messes me up about all this is that he's hitting all of these weird moves that he shouldn't be doing. He's hitting them clean as hell.
That and it speaks on AJ's like credibility a lot because it just shows how good he is. I've said it show episode after episode after episode after episode. AJ Styles is the greatest professional wrestler alive today. It constantly, but not the point. Great match. Honestly, my second favorite match of the night, but I'll get to my favorite later.
Anyway, following that was
we also have
Kevin Owens.
AJ's perhaps face turn.
Oh yeah.
On Smackdown.
Oh yes, we will talk about that in the aftermath segment once. Following that is the Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho United States Championship match. To their whole like friendship saga, at least I believe. I'll say again, that Festival of Friendship segment hurt me. And thinking about it now, like while this match was solid, it was good. Down because I feel like it could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
We know they're both capable of much better, putting on like 5-star level matches, and this one was just kind of not great. Like there were some decent spots, like the expected pop-up powerbomb reverse into code breaker spot, which it still looked it looked dope. Could have been like I feel like it should have been in a better match. Like his super move, the unbeatable, well damn near unbeatable powerbomb onto the apron and pin him in 16-20. It was a decent match, but it was just kind of a letdown considering I know they're both capable of better. But Ish, what'd you think?
I just want to mention really quick that this past Mania was a showcase of my prophetic abilities, because during this Kevin Owens match, I turned to Shaq like, "Hey, when do you think we're gonna see that inevitable pop-up powerbomb into the codebreaker spot?"
Not even a minute later.
It's like the like word for word thing that fucking I had just mentioned happened. Like fucking Kevin Owens threw me to the ropes, and took a code breaker. And I looked at Shaq and I was like, "I'm on my shit today, man."
It was seconds later.
It was literally seconds later. It was a great match. Kevin Owens won. The right man won. I
like to think I helped him out because I talked to him and I was having a conversation with him at Access in French. I was like, "Yo, listen, you veux gagner le championnat demain?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna win tomorrow." But yeah,
and
you're welcome.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was Jericho's last Mania, as much as it hurts to say it. Like he's done basically all he can. He's achieved pretty much everything. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it was his last one, or if like at least match wise. It was a great match. I don't expect to see him for a while, especially after what happened on Raw, but we'll get to that. But yeah, good match.
I would say it was like a good to great match, but not much more than that. Like, I think, like, I agree, they could have done more than what they did. The code breaker, like the pop-up power bomb into the code breaker was definitely like a highlight of the match. But yeah, I mean, like it wasn't as like, because considering the two guys who were involved, and also the story that led up to it. Like that was like months of storytelling that went into that match. So I felt like it should have been more, but like it was good, but not like amazing.
Yeah. Kirk, any thoughts?
Yeah, it was decent. It was the match I was most excited for on the card, but it didn't really deliver. I was hyped up for it. It was good. It was decent. Like it wasn't a terrible match. I don't think those two are capable of having terrible matches, but it just happened.
Yeah.
It felt like a Raw episode, honestly.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Although one funny thing I'd like to point out is that like a couple of friends of mine who they've never watched wrestling, but I know one of them, she went to like her first ever WrestleMania party, and she had never watched wrestling before, but by the time like the Kevin Owens match started, like she saw the promo and everything. Listen, Kevin Owens can eat a dick. He can go fuck himself. He's the worst human being in the world because he betrayed his best friend. And I was like, you got invested already that quick. I was like, yup. I'm like, that's also the power of that's the power of WWE's editing team, and just how good they are at making promos that just give you the story like just in like 2 minutes, like give you emotional context, and they were already fully invested. So shout out to the promo team. Anyway, following that was the Fatal 4-Way Elimination match for the Raw Women's title, where it was Charlotte versus Bayley versus Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. Now this one I don't have as much more because mainly I didn't have a chance to rewatch it, because when we saw it, me and Ish at Live at Mania, there was a big ass light that blocked our vision for the whole match.
Because, I heard about that in somebody else's recap. Like a light just randomly turned on like during that match. It was there like the rest of the night, wasn't it?
It was significantly brighter than all the other lights. And so we couldn't see anything, and we chanted for like almost the entire night, like, listen, cut the lights off. We can't see. Kirk, shout out the hashtag we can't see.
Hey, shut up. Hey, shut up. Mind your business.
If you don't know what that means, just search the hashtag on Twitter.
No, don't, man. Mind your business.
It's the early L from the Kirk age.
Mind your business.
What was it?
Nothing.
Okay. Actually, Mark, I'll tell you. Me and Kirk, we've been friends for a while. It's like for years, pretty much.
But the hashtag.
But we put a hashtag because that's like the most recognizable part of it. But like Kirk has only been woke for like a couple of years. Like he will full on say that. And there was a time where he did that whole kind of like, man, they're trying to fake be nerds. They're appropriating nerd culture. That is an actual thing he has said. This is a post on Facebook. And there's a part of it where he said, listen, I'm sick of these times where girls will like steal their glasses, like steal glasses and pretend to be like nerds and stuff. Meanwhile, we can't see. And so I turned that to hashtag we can't see. And the thing is, the worst part of it is, at the time, I agreed with him. Like my like is on there, so it is a very shameful part of our history. But
so anyway, the match.
Anyway, after the match, for what it is and what I was able to see, I thought it was all right. It was it wasn't like anything amazing. But for what it is, I still enjoy like the spots that I saw. I dug how the only way they could eliminate Nia Jax was by doing a triple powerbomb. And thankfully, I hope they didn't do a Shield mention when they did that match. But I expected them to. But they had all three of them had to pin her for her to get eliminated. Sasha got eliminated because Charlotte exposed the turnbuckle and Sasha got hit in the face with it. And Charlotte, she just beat up on Bayley, and then Bayley like knocked her out, like pretty much knocked her out, and then hit a super clean elbow drop and beat her in 12:08. But for what it is, I thought it was okay, even though I couldn't see shit for most of it. Ish. I'm assuming you have the same feeling.
Yeah, pretty much. That fucking blue and orange light was blinding the shit out of me from the women's match onward. It was kind of annoying. It was better at some points than it was others, but it was a good match, or decent, for what it was. It was all right. Um, I agree that it was the best option to eliminate Naya with the um. It keeps her looking strong, looking like a force. Sasha's elimination could have gone better because the turnbuckle wasn't really exposed. Like I rewatched it on the network, and it's the turnbuckle pad might as well not have moved at all. But it was decent. Like Shaq said, I hope they didn't mention the Shield when they did the powerbomb spot. I think the last two should have been Sasha and Bailey, so they can plant that seed that Sasha's going to turn heel. Instead, they opted for Sasha and Charlotte, where Charlotte won with, or not, lost to the Macho Man elbow drop, which is cool. That Bailey, it's rare to see a WWE match end with a move that isn't the person's primary finish. You feel me? Because that's common on the indies.
That was cool.
That's common on the indies to see regular moves finish matches, but the Bailey to belly is Bailey's coup de grace. So it was I think that was the coolest part of it all, is to see a different move finish it. I thought it was a little refreshing.
I
Any
thought
thoughts on
the
it?
match was good. That's gonna be my theme of the night, really. Because I don't think there was any really great matches on the main card. But my thing was, what the hell was the point of Sasha and Nia even being there? So I'm like, you could have just had a singles match between Bailey and Charlotte and gotten the same, if not better, result. So I'm just like, okay, it made sense if it would have just been a triple threat, but then they had to add Nia in for whatever reason. And it's not a knock against Nia, but it's just I mean, if you're gonna I kind of figured they were gonna go with a surprise Nia win, because I'm like, why the hell else would you add her to the match at the last minute unless you're actually gonna have her win? But it just seemed like a big waste of time to throw her and honestly Sasha as well into the match just to eliminate both of them first. Nia was out literally within 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes. So I'm like, what the hell was the point of even adding her to the match? The story of having all three of them team up on her was cute and everything, but I'm like, she didn't need to be in that match at all. So, but I mean, the match was still it was pretty good. That corkscrew moonsault that Charlotte did was just unbelievably sick. It's unfortunate that y'all didn't get to watch that because of the blinding light, but that was but
it looked like a regular moonsault from where we were standing.
And it was
Literally.
not.
It wasn't. We looked I was watching it through with my own two eyes from where we were standing. I was looking at the ring, and it looked like a regular moonsault. And then we looked on the replay on the big screen, and we saw the corkscrew. We were like, "Yo, that's fucking sick!" But too bad we couldn't see it in real time. Holy shit!
We had to look at on the screen that was behind us.
Yeah, that shit was really bad. But
yeah, I like Bailey doing the Macho Man Randy Savage elbow drop. It was something different, and also I'm not a fan of the Bailey belly anyway. Source and I were actually talking about this. One, it's a belly to belly, it's just kind of a weak finisher to begin with, and then also Bailey doesn't really have the build to give it a whole lot of credibility. She's a thin person, so it just doesn't quite look right just overall. But yeah, so I like the finisher that they went with.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Kirk, any additional thoughts?
Once again, it just felt like another episode of Raw. I enjoyed.
Raw.
I just.
So they had better matches. Raw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things that
sure.
I was excited for, but it didn't really fulfill my excitement all the way.
Mm. That's true. Anyway, following that was the originally triple threat ladder match, and I say originally in a minute. But first off, it started out as a triple threat ladder match for the WWE Raw Tag Team titles with Enzo and Big Cass versus Sheamus and Cesaro versus the Club, Gallows and Anderson, and maybe the hypest moment of the evening, right when the match was about to begin. The WrestleMania host, The New Day, they're like, hey, we just got news that there's another team who will be joining to make it a fatal four-way tag team match for the Raw Tag Team titles. And they were in full gear, and they started slowly inching their way down the ramp until a very familiar theme played, and Matt and Jeff Hardy showed up. They're back in the WWE much sooner than I thought they would.
Oh yeah.
If you continue on the previous mention in the indie quarter, not even 24 hours after they just had a match at Supercard of Honor against
A
Young
ladder
Bucks,
match. Another ladder match.
to another ladder match with three other teams for another freaking title. Like literally, I didn't think they would show up that soon. I thought they were going to show up on like Raw the next day, because usually that's when the big returns happen. But they said nope, and we screamed. I hugged a bunch of people next to me. It was just a moment of just like pure holy shit, what the fuck is really happening type shit right now. And as for the match itself, it was basically the big ass spot fest kind of ladder match that you'd expect from a match like that at Mania. My favorite spot aside from the return was the extended Cesaro spin mixed with the beats of the ballroom that Sheamus does. They were doing it for like I think it was like 20. I think I counted like 25 or so. But they did it for They did, 30. Okay. But they did it for an extended period of time, and it was great.
I agree.
But and the finish was basically what you think the finish was. Matt Hardy hit a twist of fate on Carl Anderson off the ladder, immediately followed by Jeff doing a swanton bomb off a 20-foot ladder onto Sheamus and Cesaro, who were both propped up on ladders. Cesaro's ladder broke. Sheamus didn't. That means he took that full force of those ladders on his chest. It was nasty, but anyway, really Matt Hardy picked up the titles, and they won their 7th tag team championship in the WWE in 11:05. And so it was a high speed match. It was pretty much high match, and I enjoyed the shit out of it. I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much if it wasn't for the fact that the Hardys had just shown up. But for what it is, it was still really fun. And yeah, that's all I can put it. Ish, what you got to say?
Agreed. I just want to enforce that my prophetic abilities were at work again, because all night up to that point, I was telling Shaq that they were pushing the tag team ladder match really far back for where it was on the show. I was like, they have to be doing something. Like the ladder match hasn't happened yet. And then when they all came out, and then the New Day came out, or the New Day's music hit, and I immediately look at Shaq like, why else are they here? Why else are they out here? And then it ran through my mind for like a split second, maybe the New Day's gonna be in the ladder match. And then when Kofi kind of did the whole, but I wonder who this other tag team is, everybody in the arena started delete. And oh my god, the sound of the pop when that Hardy Boys music hit. I lost all of my shits. All of my marbles were gone. I had lost all of them. I was fucking screaming at the top of my lungs. I have never popped so hard for anything in my life. It was amazing. Shaq said moment of the night. I dare say moment of the week. So
Oh yeah.
it was, like Shaq said, what you expect from a ladder match at Mania. It was a spot fest. The Hardy Boys won, which was
You love our
unsurprising.
ladders?
The twist of fate off the top of the ladder was cool, followed by the swanton by Jeff off the ladder, which, like he said, Cesaro's ladder broke. Sheamus didn't have the same luck as he took the brunt of Jeff Hardy's legs, which looked so painful on the network. Because I didn't notice, like, watching it live, that Sheamus's ladder didn't break, but rewatching it, I saw that spot like from a different angle, and it looked really bad for Sheamus. And that coupled with when he took the ladder to the face on the Go Home Raw and got the big cut that he needed to get stitches for, like, Sheamus has had the worst of luck as it comes with big spots lately. But great match. I'm glad the Hardys won. I'm excited to see where they go from here, whether or not WWE incorporates the whole broken gimmick, and whether or not they go to court with TNA. Like, it's gonna be a mess, obviously, but I'm excited regardless.
That was the match of the night, in my opinion. Like, just mildly, like, maybe one slight notch underneath the tag team match at Takeover. I don't know. It's hard. Like, I could go back and forth, but that was definitely, like, as far as WrestleMania, I thought that was the match of the night, the moment of the night, and yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I was thinking it was going to be New Day, but, like, in hindsight, that was just been way too obvious. Like, of course, the Hardys were going to come back, but I don't know. I didn't quite see it coming when it happened, but that made the moment that much better for me. So, like, I don't know. I thought the chemistry between all the teams was really good. I was very much against Enzo and Cass winning, even though I figured that was what was going to happen. But the way that they went, it was preferable. So I don't really have any complaints for it.
Kirk, any feelings?
Is he even there?
No, he's there. Just wait. Just give it a minute. It's like a news correspondent.
I don't see him.
Oh boy. Nope. Kirk's not saying nothing. Kirk, come in. Kirk. He might have fallen asleep.
Nah, he's not even in the chair. He's not
in the chair.
I think he went to go take another
From my screen, it's frozen on him.
Oh no, there he is. I saw a body. I think. I don't know. He's not in the chair though.
Okay, next match.
Anyway, next match. Damn it, Kirk. Following that, it was John Cena and Nikki Bella versus Miz and Maurice in the mixed tag match. And first off, I'd like to preface this saying that if you haven't seen the Total Bellas parody that the Miz and Maurice have been doing on SmackDown, you're missing out on maybe some of the funniest segments he's done in like the past decade. Like, it is absolutely hysterical. And just like so spot on at the same time. Like everything.
The way that Maurice is like parodying Nikki, like, you know what, John? Like, it was like, I never realized Maurice was that funny, but
no, like they both, like, Miz, man, I got to give it to Miz because I still remember when he debuted it, and I wanted nothing to do with it, at least in like a year. And now he's straight up like one of my favorite people in the WWE because like he just gets it. Like,
He's been soaring on SmackDown.
like he absolutely comedy. Mm-hmm. And it's especially like it was really good to also see just like during the match how he was just getting cheers over like everybody else in the match. Like he would just go to be a heel, but everyone was like, "Yes, the Miz, like you're the man." And it was just super great to hear that like his work is being recognized. And I'll be the first to go like, you know what? He turned it around for me. So like I gotta give him his respect. That being said, the match itself was to take a word from Kirk, it's basically a Raw match.
SmackDown.
Sorry, yeah, let me correct that. A SmackDown match. Thank you, Ish. It was just like Cena, Super Cena doing his thing and Super Nikki doing her thing. The whole like double 5-knuckle shuffle and double finishes at the end was cute. You know, like it basically led to what you were thinking were like what was gonna happen. It was also a really short match, 9 minutes, but really the whole thing was just a preface for John Cena finally going down on one knee and actually popping the question, and Nikki saying yes. So it was like, even though we saw it coming from miles away, it was still something kind of sweet. So like I couldn't be too mad about it, and it was a fine match. But like it was forgettable, more for the moment. And the moment was nice. Ish, you got anything to add? Sorry, one more thing. Why was Al Sharpton there?
Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton.
Al
That's
Sharpton.
Al
Okay,
Roker.
well, Al said it. Al Roker.
No, shut up. No, shut up. Shut your mouth. No, shut up. That was Al Roker.
Like, not.
Yo,
Podcast right now.
It's a black man named Al. My bad.
yo. The good Reverend Al Sharpton was in WrestleMania, bro. Yo, the man of God himself, bro.
The hairstyle could not be any more different.
My bad.
Goodness.
Yo, the good
Al Roker
Reverend.
was there because he does Good Morning America with John, or he does whatever their morning show is.
My bad. Why was Al like? What was the point of Al Roker just being there to introduce the matches and whatever? Like, did he ever sing in Total Divas, I guess, or Total Bellas?
No, I just told you he's a co-host with Good Morning America with John Cena,
Oh, all right.
or whatever show John Cena's on. I can't remember. It's either Good Morning America or one of them.
Oh, no, you mean the Today Show?
Yeah, the Today Show. There we go. It's the other one now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But as for what I had to add, you know, it was just a SmackDown match, but I just want to touch on the fact that John Cena possibly wrestled an entire like 10-minute wrestling match with an engagement ring in his pocket in his cargo shorts. That and he like busted out the snazzy black cargo shorts for the proposal. It was, and like Shaq said, it was the match was forgettable, but it was entirely for the moment. And I just want to touch on something that Mark has said previously in the past, that I also believe that for that moment to happen, they got secretly engaged beforehand, like at least a couple months ago, because like there's no way Nikki Bella didn't know that was gonna happen. I'm sorry, there is no way. Like, as much as they want you to believe that, I don't buy that at all. But regardless, like Shaq said, I can't be too mad at it because, like, regardless, it's a proposal. It's sweet. It was a feel good moment. And it was cool, I guess. Like, I would have preferred Miz to go over, but I guess that doesn't necessarily look too good on the inevitable Total Bellas episode that'll cover the proposal. But you know, it was whatever. It was good.
The match sucked. Like, in terms of work rate, I guess. I was just expecting more. Like, it was clear that, like, I guess in hindsight, it was clear that, like, Maurice has absolutely no interest in her. Like that's very clear.
Ooh.
Like she does not want to wrestle at all, and that's fine because she works extremely well with Miz as like his manager or his valet. So I'm not knocking it, but it is very clear she is no longer a wrestler. But like yeah, I mean like there's no way in hell they weren't engaged already. But also like one thing we're not talking about enough. That little story that he told about how he engaged, he proposed to her while she was like passed out. Like, can we talk about
Yes.
It's a little weird.
How's Loki creepy as fuck?
Yeah, like, you engaged to someone, you proposed to someone who was not awake enough to even consent to the shit. But you took her yes as like
sounds like Triple H.
Yeah, that sounds
Kirk said it. It's basically Triple H.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go.
It's Triple H in real life.
Yep.
Oh God. Oh goodness.
Yeah, that's the drive-through chapel wedding. There you go.
Oh no.
But no, like I mean, it was sweet. Like they got their little moment. I will say, like if we want to get really technical about it, like The Miz and Maurice definitely won that whole feud, though.
Yeah.
Because if you see the SmackDown part, like when they cut that promo, like they basically talked about how they basically forced Cena to propose to Nikki, and he did it at WrestleMania so he could make a big show out of it. And then they both went away after. So, like, they're both gone. Like, Cena's off doing movies now, and Nikki's off recovering and, I guess, healing up on her injuries or whatever. So now they're both gone. And now, so in a way, they kind of, like, they lost the match, but they won the feud, I would say.
Yeah, like, they were definitely being booked to, like, look super salty. But they had, like, all their points were valid, like, and they were right about everything, like that they like at least. I mean, I'm not sure how far it goes with Cena, like Nikki for the money, or not for the money, but for like the attention and stuff. I'm not sure how far that goes, and I'm not gonna knock if it is genuine. But like the big deal out of the proposal, because he's like fucking a fiend for the spotlight thing, like it's so true, like all of it is so true. And at the end of the day, they were right. Like they called it from the beginning that they were gonna like have their moment under the sun, and they were just gonna go off into the sunset, and Maurice and The Miz would still be there on SmackDown, and that's exactly how it ended up being. So I agree with Mark. I think they won the feud, even though they lost the match at Mania.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Kirk, any thoughts on the tag match, on the mixed tag, and Cena's engagement?
No, I can't think of any engagement that I care less about at all.
This would be the one time where it'd be good for you to mention the gowns and shit, where you're like, nah.
No, because it's not even nice on them. It just happened. Like, it was just okay. Like I said, it would have been better. Nikki had
decent gowns.
It would have been better if Nikki had taken that heel turn, said no to John in front of everybody.
Oh God!
And his mama was there. Oh,
right in front of his mama too. That would have been brutal.
That would have been crazy.
Ask me questions when I'm unconscious.
Like, what the hell are you doing asking me to marry you while I'm in a coma?
I bet he said, baby, I know you can't see me, but
Stop.
No, you know what would be funnier is if like, have you all seen that video of like, I think that one like TV show where the dude was like, listen, I love you, but like, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. That's what he should have hit her with in the middle of WrestleMania. Heel turn. Friend zone heel turn. Been the
It's
funniest
like
thing.
when Cena heel turn, I think. That ship sailed.
No, but that would
Yeah.
have been the funniest, most unexpected way to do a heel turn ever. Friend zone her
John
in the
Cena
middle of the ring.
Honestly, this is kind of just a me thing. I'm not sure if anybody else feels like this, but I think big proposals in front of big crowds are kind of uncomfortable because it kind of puts that person
Oh,
in the position to say yes.
Oh, public proposal.
They're toxic as hell.
So that kind of reinforces my point that I think that they were secretly engaged beforehand, because I don't think John Cena is that trash of an individual to do that to his would-be fiance. You feel me?
Yeah, no, they were engaged already. I would bet money on
Yep.
that.
It's just now she can go around with a ring now.
Exactly. Which I read somewhere that ring is $110,000.
Right.
And it's not like, no offense, I'm sure they love each other so much, but it's not that pretty of a ring. I'm just saying. But you know.
I can't wait for the wedding pictures because John Cena in suits is the funniest thing God ever let happen.
Yeah.
Because that man can't find a good suit. He cannot find a good suit.
Like a Ninja Turtle in disguise.
It's like Trevante Rhodes. Like these jacked up dudes just cannot find suits to fit them well.
Right.
Oh God.
Because they end up looking like refrigerators.
Oh God.
Anyway, following that, they showed a recap of the Hall of Fame ceremony that occurred over the weekend. So they brought out all this year's inductees. They brought out our boy Teddy Long. Holla. They brought out the family of the deceased Rick Rude, Rick Rude, still one of the best heels to ever grace the ring. They brought out the Rock and Roll. They brought out the Rock and Roll Express. They brought out Beth Phoenix, DDP, who should have won for a long time.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Y'all know I just got a DDP in the Hall of Fame. That's something really close to my heart. Honestly, I love Diamond Dallas Page. I had that he's getting this flowers so I get to smell. And like I love DDP out for his outside of the ring stuff. Like he's in lives with his DDP yoga stuff. You know what I mean? Like he's helping people get off like lifelong addictions and stuff. Like he's really repairing careers and saving lives out here. And as a social worker, like it really touches me on a big level. So like I'm just glad respect right now.
That's true. Like even like the whole thing, especially with like Jake the Snake Roberts, like the #1 example of like
Yes.
He pretty straight up saved his life. Because he would have been dead by now if it wasn't for him. Him and also Scott Hall.
Shout out DDP.
But yeah, DDP. And then they gave the Warrior Award to Eric LeGrand, who was a college football player who was paralyzed, and has become a motivational speaker. And while I'm still frustrated with the fact that and how they warped the idea of what the Warrior Award was really supposed to be, I do like that they're highlighting, people who've overcome just like these terrible odds. And like they've overcome actual odds, not like the Roman Reigns, John Cena odds, but like actual like shit that life has thrown at them and turn into something positive. So I think while I still like don't like the problematic aspect of how that came about, I still do like appreciate the fact that they're giving it to like good people. And finally, the top inductee, Kurt Angle, who came out to a huge ovation and came out to the "You Suck" chant, which is still like when you think about it, that's kind of weird, but in the context of Kurt Angle, it's totally fitting. It's like it's weird they're saying "You suck" to a man who just entered the Hall of Fame.
It's a thing of it,
but like
now.
Yeah, in the context of Kurt Angle, it's very endearing. and he understands that and he acknowledges it. So it's very great to see. Anyway, following that was the non-sanctioned match between Seth Rollins and Triple H. Triple H looking like the most like midlife crisis ass looking ass nigga with that fucking big ass that motorcycle and police escort.
The tricycle
looking like a member of Sons of Anarchy who like hasn't realized the show's been over for a couple years.
Speaking of which,
but by that same token,
Stephanie
man, Steph has never looked finer than that exact moment.
Oh,
like Jesus Christ. Like it was she looked so good. It looked at that point I'm like just stop wearing like the pantsuits and like stop trying to look like Hillary Clinton all the time and just straight up be like acknowledge the heel form and just be like full on like badass Sons of Anarchy type of like character and just own it because like that is the best. Meanwhile, go ahead.
If only Stephanie wasn't a Trump supporting, like capitalistic, terrible person.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
like they're real life heels.
Yeah, they all are. Like I want to give the exception to Triple H, but I'm not entirely sure how much that goes.
We don't know.
Yeah,
but I will take this space for Kurt to get it out of his system. His thirst for 17 McMahon, just get it out of the system now. So
go. No, I already got that out. I said she looked good. You know, the thirst dies with Trump support.
Yeah, you're right. You're definitely right.
Okay.
Yeah,
you're right.
You raised like that though.
You're right. Anyway, meanwhile, on the other hand, fucking Seth Rollins comes out with a flaming torch and just sets the whole like doesn't literally set the ring on fire, but like he sets like a torch ablaze that goes down the ramp around the ring, and it's scorched earth, and it looks super dope. As for the match itself, this match like while it wasn't a bad match, it took way too fucking long because Triple H cannot have a match that lasts under 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and so
his
that's basically
promo
what
dragged just like this match did.
Yeah, basically. And it was just mainly like Triple H just beating up on Rollins' knee. And Rollins has a very knee-centric offense. So it was weird to see him do all those moves.
Yeah, he sucked at selling me.
Yeah. But also one of the other like top spots of the night, they got like the biggest pop, which is hilarious. But it was near the end where Triple H and Rollins were doing like they're trying to do the pedigree, and Rollins threw. Actually, no. Rollins grabbed the sledgehammer, and Stephanie got on the ropes and took it away from him. And Triple H was like running towards Stephanie. And he dodges out of the way, and so they almost hit. And then Triple H turns around, and kicks him, and Triple H does that whole thing where he like runs around unconscious, and knocks himself into Steph, who falls onto a table that was placed earlier in the match. And when that happened, the crowd exploded, and it was hilarious. Took advantage of that, hit the pedigree on Triple H, and wins in 25-30. That is right, 25-30. It took. This is the longest match of the night, and it was an okay match, but it was too fucking long. And that spot, it was funny, but yeah, too long. It dragged, but that's all I got to say. Ish, any thoughts?
Probably the match I was most excited for going into the match. Seth Rollins is one of my favorite, if not my favorite wrestler on the roster right now. At least Raw's roster. And I was excited for the match. As for Seth's entrance with the whole torch and setting the ramp on fire, I thought it was dope, and then it clicked with me because wearing the new Kingslayer shirt. And on the back of it, it has this little like crest near the neck. That's like Seth Rollins' logo, and it says "Burn It Down," like around the circle. Which kind of coincided with his whole entrance, and it like clicked with me mid-entrance, and I told Shaq, and it was amazing. Triple H's entrance was hilarious because it was so like machismo, and like he came in on a trike with the police escorts, and he came in and he like did the whole Undertaker bit where he went around the ring on the bike.
Notice how like perfect, like during the part where Triple H does his like water entrance or whatever, and the wind was blowing, and it just looked so perfect. I'm sorry, it just looked so perfect on Steph. It was like, ugh.
And
Damn it.
And
I'm sorry. I'm becoming Kirk right now for the thirst. I will take his spot.
He rode the bike around up to the ramp and fucking revved the engine like all macho like. I thought it was hilarious. As for the match
He's
itself,
not a dad.
yeah, like as for the match itself, it was dope. Should have been a lot shorter, at least like 10 minutes shorter. I think Triple H worked Seth Rollins' leg a little too much, because if he had worked completely, like suspending my disbelief here, if he had worked Seth's leg that much, he should have won. But I think he just worked it a little too much just to lose. I think the spot where Stephanie went through the table was dope. I think the spot where the sequence where they were trying to trade pedigrees was dope. Yeah, it was just a good match overall. I think Seth needed to win that feud. I felt like everybody knew he was going to, but at the same time, you can never be too sure with Triple H wrestling at WrestleMania. The inevitable return of the golden shovel will come. But
Yep.
it was a good match, nonetheless.
Yeah, it was a good match. It was just, I mean, like I said, it's it's like Triple H's promos. The match was too long.
Oh God.
So it was another one of those matches where like the build up exceeded what we ended up getting. So it's kind of disappointing, but I mean it was decent, but also what took away from it was like Rollins just like did not sell the knee very well at all. Could have taken another two from Naomi, but
yeah,
Yep.
I was gonna say Naomi sold that knee, her leg injury, like her life depended on it, and I think Seth could have done the same thing, where considering his knee literally like exploded a year ago.
Yep.
But and like with the whole re-injury angle, like he could have done better selling the knee, especially with how much Triple H was working it.
Hey, Kirk, any thoughts?
I liked it. It was a good match. Seth. I've said it on Twitter. I don't know. Seth's walk, man. He walks like Barney the dinosaur, and it's just. I think it's just. I think his thigh muscles are just too big old drumsticks, and Seth's a great worker. Triple H, his entrance was laughable. I mean, even the time when like motorcycles were still cool, that junk like old as hell. Like that didn't even look like an intimidating badass bike. He really came in on a tricycle with the engine.
He did.
So, I mean, it was okay.
All right. Anyway, next up is we're gonna have fun with this match. It is Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt for the
Nope, we don't have to have fun. We can go. We can skip. We don't have to have fun.
Listen, no, we are gonna go in on this match.
Oh,
Do we have to?
we don't have to.
Yes, we'll be a sort of. Listen, we have to. Like, it's our job to cover all of it. Listen, this match was shit. like, what disappoints me is that, like, we had such a good build up to this. Like, it was really, really good. Like, the slow build, the set, like, over the course of, like, what, 7 months or so? And, like, Orton being in the Wyatt family and, like, being under the control and everything. And then the whole, like, freaking burning his house down and Sister Abigail or whatever. I didn't, like, one thing I didn't notice because I didn't see that episode of SmackDown was that and he wiped Sister Abigail's ashes on him. And I thought that was super fucking creepy and awesome. And even during the match, he would do, like, really weird mind games that, like, I don't know what purpose they really served, but they still look cool from a visual standpoint when he started, like, projecting insects onto the ring with, like, the maggots and work. Like, I thought it was weird, but it was interesting. It was different. So I was like, you know, but this match is so boring because Randy is like, literally, the RKO is the only thing that keeps them over. He's just
and the through the ropes.
That and yeah, the vintage Orton. Other than that, like, actually, sorry, RKO, the vintage Orton, and when he does a clean ass power slam. Other than that, I don't care. And that's basically what it was. This was a plotting mess. And Orton won after, like, an RKO in, like, 10 minutes 30. But this shit fucking sucked. And that's all I got. Ish.
I mean, listen. Honestly, besides the Seth match, this is my second most anticipated match of the night. Honestly, I went into it with high expectations. You know, I went into it with my disbelief suspended and my childhood nostalgic feeling of being invested in a wrestling feud once more. And you know, the belief that Bray Wyatt's first WWE championship run wouldn't last for a month. But you know,
not for 2 months.
it was a boring match. Apparently Bray Wyatt can work a PowerPoint presentation.
Oh,
I think he did the most.
Family vacation.
I think he did the most just to lose. Like when the first slide happened, like the lights went out. It got projected onto the ring, and Shaq and I were like, "What the fuck is happening?" And then we looked, we were like, "Oh shit, that's cool, I guess." And then it happened 2 more times, and we were just like, "All right, I whatever, you know." But I mean,
4 times.
The match was it's forgettable. I skipped it rewatching the pay-per-view on the network. You know, I'm mad Randy won. I think Bray deserves better. I think Randy being the fallback, like, reliable guy that they can go to just to put the belt on him when they need a new champion needs to stop. Like, I was all for Randy. Like, I was all for the feud. You know, if Randy were to lose, in the sense that, like, he's improved his mic skills and his ring work just by being associated with Bray Wyatt. And I was all for the match going into it thinking that Randy would lose, and then he won. So it kind of just deflated the whole situation. And honestly, the rest of the pay-per-view from then on out, at least for me, even live, like, I was just disappointed. But, you know, I would love to hear what Kirk has to say as a known Randy Orton stan.
You guys are just being haters, okay? Because first of all, Randy Orton's, like, super talented. Because he's, like, great. I love how he moves at a very slow pace, so a fan like me can, like, keep up. And but no, honestly, this was terrible. I hate it. I love Bray Wyatt. I don't know why they build such a great character to treat him like such crap. They don't let him win any of the feuds. the dude did. All right, so let's just think within the realm of kayfabe. Like this is all real. So he has the ability to make us all imagine worms and stuff on the roaches, but he can't beat Randy Orton. Like what? Like he has powers. The man got powers, and he can't beat Randy Orton. It's just like it was so cringy. It's like wow, he made the projector happen and worms on the mat and everything. I thought Boogeyman was about to crash the match when I saw that for real. I know it was supposed to be Bray doing that on purpose, but seriously, after all that, still he loses.
Honestly, like,
Yep.
my biggest point is Bray lost to Randy 1-on-1 at Mania, but he won the title in the Chamber against AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, Dean Ambrose, John Cena, and who was the last guy? I don't even fucking remember.
It was Baron Corbin, but he pinned John Cena and AJ Styles within 5 minutes.
Yeah. They're very stop and go with Bray.
But yeah, Mark, any additional final thoughts on this stupid match?
Worst match of the night, worst match of the whole weekend. Randy Orton sucks, and I want him to retire already.
He's still Mr. All Lives Matter, so yeah, fuck him.
Even aside from that, like I have no interest in him as a performer. I want him to just go the fuck away. I want him to like not wrestle a match ever again. And now they're going in a direction in this angle that like makes me even less interested. Like I just don't see any way this House of Horrors match that they're talking about is going to be anything that's not a total train wreck. So
yay, we'll get to that too.
Yeah. I'm just over, and it sucks because like that was like one of the best things on SmackDown for a while, but now I'm just like, So I don't know, maybe Vince just really decided to get really hands-on with this angle. I don't know.
Yep. Anyway, next up is a match I was originally dreading, and I'm pretty sure all of us were too. The Universal Championship match between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. And two months
they got a low bar to go over.
And at a really low bar. And to my surprise, I love the shit out of this match. I'm not gonna lie. Like this is basically the match they should have had 6 months ago. Like the one at Survivor Series. Freaking great because this is literally a video game. It's literally two people playing WWE 2K16 with unlimited finishers and just using that over and over for 5 minutes. Like literally, here's the stats. Brock Lesnar over the course of the match used 10 suplexes. Bill Goldberg used 4 spears. One of them was over on the barricade. And then he hit him with a jackhammer, which Brock Lesnar kicked out of. And at that point, I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. And Goldberg went for another spear, and Brock Lesnar, like the superhuman freak he is, jumped over Bill Goldberg doing the spear. And I cackled when that happened. Like, it's a superhuman being. And so Brock Lesnar hits the F5 on Goldberg and wins the title in 4 minutes and 45 seconds. And what I'll say is, yeah, this match is basically actually fantasy warfare come to life. And for what it is, I laughed my ass off and had a great time. And it made me, it brought back my stock in Brock Lesnar. Like, I was getting sick of his shit, and he somehow still did the same shit, and I enjoyed it this time. But, yeah. Ish, what do you think of this match? This video game-ass match.
I agree with everything Shaq just said. It felt like a video game. And honestly, last account of my prophetic abilities, because Shaq and I met a nice man named Rob at WrestleMania.
Shout out to Black Rob from Miami.
Shout out to Black Rob from Miami. That's our boy. And we the three of us took the liberty of setting up bets to see how long the match would last. And
I said 2:30.
Shaq said 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Rob said around 4 minutes, and no, Rob said like
You said 3.
over. He said 3, and I said under 5. So the match lasted. The match lasted
4
4
minutes and
minutes.
45 seconds.
4 minutes and 45 seconds, just under 5 minutes. Once again, I'm just saying. But the match itself, it was cool. I knew Goldberg was gonna lose as soon as Brock kicked out of the first jackhammer. Like it was from there a given. I think it was done tastefully that they just fucking hit their big moves because that's all both of them are at this point is just 2 moves. And I think I'm glad that when Brock hit the 10th German, that the fucking crowd didn't explode in 10 chants. That was amazing. But Brock went over like he should have at Survivor Series. It was good. It was a good, like, for what it was, great match. Brock's the Universal Champion now. He's not going to defend it at Fastlane. At Payback, we know he won't.
I'll see it again for SummerSlam.
We won't. Yeah, we won't see that.
Also, one thing I would like to Also, one thing I would like to point out that I didn't realize that is the first ever clean singles loss by Goldberg.
Yep. And I was
of like bullshit reasons that make him lose, like the taser by Scott Hall.
Yeah,
this is the first one that's like pure 100% clean.
I was joking at Mania that the only way Brock can win is if Scott Hall runs down the ramp and tases Goldberg again. But it was a good match, I think. Mark said, we're not going to see the belt again until SummerSlam, but it's fine as long as it's not on fucking Goldberg.
Yep. Mark, your thoughts?
The match was, I had like dirt low expectations for this match. Like, it was funny reading like the rumors of like it's gonna be longer than Survivor Series. Like, yeah, I fucking hope so. So, like for what we could have possibly gotten out of those two, like Goldberg's never been a good wrestler even on his best day. And Lesnar does not give a single solitary shit. He's just there to collect his check, which is obvious. So, that in mind, it was a pretty damn good match. Like, that was about as good as you could possibly hope for, booking-wise and work rate-wise. So, I mean, no real complaints. It's just WWE kind of booked themselves into a corner with those two, and now we won't be seeing the title again for a few more months. So, yeah, that's what it is.
Yep.
Did you say something? You keep breaking out for me, Shaq.
Sorry, Kirk, I was saying your thoughts on Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg.
Yeah. All right, this is the match I was talking about. I didn't expect y'all to like it as much, but yeah, it was my favorite match of the night, honestly, because it was short. Also, because they gave me what I expected, like from these two, like their abilities. Just like Mark said, Goldberg's not a good wrestler, and Brock is just there to be there. I just wanted to see two big dudes throw each other around for a big minute.
Yeah, that's literally what we got. Yep. It's basically like two people who don't know how to play fighting games, but they know one move, so they just use that one move to win.
Right.
Over and over again.
Yep. Okay, so following that was the bathroom break segment, where it was the performance of the theme song by one Pitbull and one Mr. Flowrider. Dude, literally, the second that they said, introducing Grammy Award winning artist just left. I went to the bathroom, he went to go get food.
I got the most amazing chicken fingers, by the way.
Oh, were those actually really good?
Yes, bro.
Also, man, if you go to WrestleMania, expect the most ridiculous ass prices. They were selling water for $5.
That sounds exactly right.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? Come on now. But anyway, the penultimate match of this night was the SmackDown Women's Roster Six-Pack Challenge between Natalya, Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Carmella, accompanied by the God James Ellsworth, Mickie James, and our queen, the queen of the African American announce table, Naomi. And for what it's worth, like, while I think this match was kind of rushed, but I can understand because they were kind of running low on already been 6 hours up to this point of wrestling. For what it's worth, I still enjoyed the match because it was very fast paced. Everyone they pretty much all got their some moves in. One of my favorites was when Becky just suplexed the fuck out of James Ellsworth because he tried to interrupt the match. And in the end, we actually can have our belated Naomi Appreciation Celebration episode because she won the title in her hometown in 535, and the most well-deserving victory of the evening.
Like talk about the fact that, like, they were a pull-down spot, a bathroom break spot, and Naomi actually still managed to pop the crowd.
Exactly.
Like, with her entrance, with her, like, within the match and winning the match, like, the crowd actually gave a shit in, like, literally the worst spot that you could be in on a WrestleMania card.
Yep. Also, seeing that entrance live, like, in the environment that it is, in like the dark and everything, it looked perfect. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah, we can see why everyone wanted to campaign to have it on the main show and not the pre-show, because, like, Naomi trying to do that entrance, like, during daylight would not have worked at all.
Nope, not in the slightest. But like, they did their thing, and yeah, just the one who should have won from a long time ago, but she finally got it in her hometown, which makes it even sweeter. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Sorry, Mark. Actually, Mark, we'll switch up. Mark, you go ahead. I want to seek this. I want to seek this into your Reading Rainbow if you wanted to.
Not yet. I'll let them feedback first.
Right.
The match was decent. It wasn't like, I mean, like, I was expecting that the match probably wasn't going to be as good as it could have been because it got moved to the main show, and I'm like, okay, there's like 12 other matches going on, and I'm like, I don't see any way that this gets more than like 8 minutes, and sure enough, it was like 6 minutes long. So, like, I kind of figured it wasn't going to be a great match, but for what they were given, it was fine. It was pretty good. And of course, you know, Naomi and Alexa got to have a good match on Tuesday, so they kind of made up for it. But yeah, I mean, like, it was a good match. Like, the ending was pretty good, where Naomi reversed Alexa into that fire submission move that she does. I forget the name of it, but yeah, it was a great way. It was a good way to end the match. Like, she was just, and I love the fact that, like, Naomi was just looking at her, just staring in her face, like, yeah, you better tap out, motherfucker.
That's exactly it. Anyway, Ish, what are your thoughts on the match?
I thought it was good. The match itself wasn't anything to, like, write home about, but the moment itself of Naomi winning the belt in her hometown is what matters to me. But you know, Beck's exploding, fucking James Ellsworth was satisfying.
Why? James Ellsworth, I forgot about his outfit. Oh my goodness.
Yo, his fit was the funniest.
I'm tweeting, he dressed like he was stuck in traffic looking for his chapstick. Like Malibu's most wanted.
Like, yo, listen, he about to go to, like, the all-white party, but, like, the actual all-white party.
What, like with white hoods?
Oh God. But just to touch on fucking what's her name? Forgot her name. Bailey? Yeah. No, not Bailey.
Same.
Becky?
Mickey?
Fuck.
Oh,
I don't know. Mickey?
Which one?
Alexa?
No, it's fucking redhead.
Becky?
Becky. Oh god.
man, you can guess Becky, and that might stick. If it's a white girl, you just guess Becky.
Oh god, you're right. Yeah. Becky's the like dreads got it. They had to go before they even came. Like that shit was not.
The appropriators are not prospering with these dreads. Bray Wyatt lost, and now his feud is shit, and now Becky's just an afterthought now. So white people,
Literally,
I'm telling you, you cannot prosper appropriating our culture, and just stop doing it.
like
I'm surprised Bray has kept his dreads as long as he has.
Same. Like
then again, he's supposed to be like a dirty ass nigga from like the swamp.
Yeah.
So like
And white
at the same time, it makes sense.
And white boy dreads are like literally the dirtiest hairstyle ever.
Yes, it works. It works. You're right.
So it makes sense. Becky, you should know, girl. You should know better.
facts.
Why? I don't see why she would know better.
She's trying to get her last kicked.
Listen, why is she trying to be out here having dreads? She's what?
Irish.
Scottish?
Irish.
Or Irish. Like they ain't got no dreaded people in Ireland. At least I don't think.
They shouldn't. If they do.
Nah, man, but they got those braid things that she could have done. Like she could, like you know what I'm talking about, the documentary.
No,
Disney's braids.
The worst thing she could have done is just have been a like Irish jig that she used to dress in when she first showed up in NXT.
Oh god.
That would have been the worst thing she could have done.
Bro, throwback to the good old days, man. Where she never won the NXT Women's title.
Anyway, Kirk, your thoughts on the quick match?
I mean, Naomi won. That's all that matters. I liked it. I liked it. It's cute.
She about to get sued by Warner Brothers at some point. She all that cosplay stuff.
He's adopting.
Yeah. Oh, she gonna get sued at some point. Anyway, finally, like the final match of this super long, shouldn't even need to be this long kind of evening. But it is. Here it is. Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker in a no holds barred match. And keep in mind that no holds barred stipulation they didn't add until the match started. Like literally, it was on some like WrestleMania 7 type shit.
And they also announced
what is it?
They also announced that JR was calling the match, so you knew. Like I knew it. Like I had heard that JR was gonna call. He was gonna do something, but I had just completely forgotten about it during the show. But then when they announced him, I was like, "Oh shit, something's about to happen." Like that was like the first sign.
For what it is, it was kind of underwhelming. I mean, like not even.
It was sad, honestly.
The better word is sad. It was just depressing because, like, not only is it like it's very clear that like this is it for Taker, because he didn't look good at the Rumble, and I feel like he looked worse here because like he just looked kind of sickly. Like he looked like he was old. He was tired. Couldn't like the reverse tombstone spot which man, they fucked up bad on that one. Like they tried it like 3 times and it didn't work. Like not only could like Roman not lift Taker, but like Taker couldn't lift him.
Yeah, no, it was like I mean, I think Roman tried, but I'm like, he's not a small dude, so you can't deadlift Undertaker. So,
like someone he got beaten up with a chair repeatedly by Roman. The crowd was having none of it. Then the Taker did the usual sit-up spot, but then he did it a second time and he just couldn't get back up. And even Roman was like, stay down, man. Like, this is like putting a dog down. And finally ended up doing, the spear. but he did like that whole like momentum. So he just went like around the ropes like 3 or 4 times, and then hit the spear and hit it. And so so technically, Taker finishes Mania with a record of 23-2, and that's not the most important part of the match though, because the most important part is what happened after, which is when Undertaker, like he finally after like an extended period just on his back, finally gets up. Like he gets up weekly. Finally decides to he takes off his gloves, takes off his coat, takes off his hat, gets out of the ring, kisses his wife, goes to the entrance, and leaves. And pretty much just ends the legacy of The Undertaker. And while the match was sad and kind of sucked, and you're just giving no favors to Roman, and I wish that we actually got like a better match to end Taker's career on. For what it is, like the moment itself after the match is more important than anything that had to do in the entire it just watched. That like at that point, like I just didn't care and just was just caught up in the moment. Almost kind of cried, but like everyone was emotional. But yeah, that's pretty much how it went down. Ish, your thoughts on that whole thing, that whole scene?
You could ask Shaq. I did cry when Taker lost.
Because for me, it's hard to cry. Like it's one of those things where like I feel like crying, but it's not happening.
Exactly. Like, just I'll put it into perspective. Like, you guys are older than me, so think about it like this. I'm 17. The Undertaker has like I've been watching wrestling as long as I can remember. The Undertaker has been in wrestling for as long as I've been alive, even longer. Like,
Yeah,
I know
Yeah.
nothing
He's worked
about
for
wrestling.
since you've been alive.
I know nothing about wrestling that doesn't involve Mark Calloway. Like, the Undertaker basically defined professional wrestling entire life, and I was there to watch him go out, and he went out on his back. And what kind of makes it even more, I guess, bittersweet is that he lost to Roman Reigns. The scene of the,
and you hate Roman.
and I hate Roman, and I won't get into it because it's not about him, but just like the scene of it, just watching it slowly come to an end with him just taking the chair shots and spear after spear, Superman punch after Superman punch, and then the last one, and just the 3 count, just like all of my like, just I deflated so quickly. Like that was the last match, and just watching Taker lose, just like took everything out of me like immediately. And it was just like I was speechless, honestly. And then watching him take his what made him who he is, like watching him take the gloves and the coat and the hat off and leaving it in the ring, just I like the Hardys coming back earlier, like my childhood came back and it died with the Undertaker. So I'm a little more than emotional, honestly. And like if fucking wrestling never sees him again, I think would be the best way to go with it. Like I don't think he should do any guest appearances or any like guest spots, moments, anything like that. I think he should just hang it up and just be done with it for good. I think he can live off the con money for the rest of his life because he's the fucking Undertaker. But I mean, like, not to be too emotional, but that shit, like, man, oh my god, it was really bad, man.
Yeah. Here, Mark, your words.
It's kind of sad, like because I was at WrestleMania 30 when the streak first ended, and I know like, damn, like that reaction, like we were just standing there frozen when it first happened, but like, I don't know, like we were. like I guess the original thought was that Undertaker was going to retire during that match, but I guess because he got the concussion, like the match wasn't that good, so then he wanted to come back and redeem himself. And then he worked another match, and then he worked another match. Like he honestly, like it would have been preferable if he would have just stopped at WrestleMania 30, but unfortunately, because of the concussion, that match just wasn't that good. So, damn, like it's just he lingered on like way too long, and now like he had to go out with this horrible. Well, not I don't want to say horrible, but like it wasn't a good match. Like I don't know. It was sad to watch. It was just a sad way to go out. But I mean, like the post-match stuff with him, you know, kind of having his curtain call and going off into the proverbial sunset. I thought that was like really. It was actually really powerful. It was emotional. So I mean, like, I've been alive longer than Taker's been doing WrestleMania matches, like, but just barely. But I started watching wrestling like well into his career. Like I started watching in the mid to late 90s. So like he was a few years into his career by the time I started watching. So it was yeah, I mean like that's my entire time as a wrestling fan. Like I mean that's I know Taker just being there the whole time. So definitely the end of an era, to put it very mildly.
Hey, Kirk, any thoughts?
I'll be completely honest with you, and I may sound ridiculous, but I don't think this is the last time we see Undertaker. I don't know why. I just have a feeling.
We'll see him at the Hall of Fame next year. That's why.
No. I got some weird feeling. Some foolery is about to go down. So I don't know what it is. It's just this feeling in my stomach, man. In a match, or is he gonna come back in some major? I feel like he has one more thing to do. I don't know what it is, but he got something. He's gonna do something. Oh. I don't think we've seen a lot of something yet.
You know, Kirk, I'll hold you to that. You know what he'll do? He'll be the GM of SmackDown. That's what'll happen.
Stop.
No, stop.
Honestly, like, I want to propose a question, like, because Shaq just mentioned, and I agree that I think Undertaker is going to be in the Hall of Fame by next year. But is he going to go into the Hall of Fame in character or nah?
Right.
Well,
I think
I don't know.
I think it'll be the first time we see him out of character.
He'll go in as the Undertaker.
Like, truly out of character.
He's gonna like talk about it like as Mark. Like I don't think he's gonna be in character when he does his speech.
Yeah,
that was what I meant.
I could just do who. Actually, no, never mind. I can already tell who probably induct him.
Kane.
They probably do it. Yeah, Kane.
Or Vince, if anything. Honestly,
don't do that.
That's true. I'd rather Kane. Paul Heyman or something.
Honestly, Paul Bearer
back in like WCW, the WCW days, so it makes sense.
If Paul Bearer was still alive, I would say him. Honestly.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Or his wife, like Michelle McCool, could do it.
That's true.
Yeah,
like, there's so many different opportunities.
I don't want to listen to Michelle talk for like 5 minutes.
It has to be Kane. It has to be Kane.
It's gotta be Kane.
It's gotta be Kane. Oh man, shout out Gorilla Monsoon, bro.
Yeah, but as it stands, so ends the legacy of the Undertaker, at least for right now. One cool thing that I really appreciated that they did is after the show ended, when like the crew was like taking down like the entire set and stuff, because as they do, they left that whole like pile of like the hat and the coat and everything. They left that intact for like the entire time that they were like taking down the set. So I thought that was cool, like a kind of like bit of like, we respect this man so much that we don't want to just kind of like, we want to let the moment kind of sink in. So we'll just do everything around that. But anyway, that wraps it up for WrestleMania. WrestleMania, for what it's worth, I like, despite some of the matches running on too long, some of them being out and out terrible, I enjoyed it. You know, it was much better than last year's show, because last year's show was a piece of shit for the most part.
I
don't like it.
Set low.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't like it as much as the one before that, the 31, because 31 might be my second favorite WrestleMania, like behind X7. But that's because there was so much, like, so many things that they got right with that. But like, it obviously couldn't be up to that level. But for what it is, there was a lot of good matches. There was a lot of good moments. Something that that is one of the greatest moments of my entire freaking life. And I think it'll still hold a special piece of my heart because it's the first ever Mania that I actually went to. So, and like seeing that, and then seeing Taker's probably most likely his last match ever, you know, for what it's worth, like it's still pretty solid. And Ish, your thoughts on this Mania?
I thought it was dope. You know, it's Mania. I was there, so like I'm a little biased. I've seen a lot of people differ in the sense that they thought it was lackluster, mediocre. They thought it sucked. You know, whatever. I thought it was good though. Honestly, even if I wasn't there, I probably would have thought it was a strong show, at least for the most part. It's definitely no like I was at Mania in Orlando 9 years ago for Flair's retirement match. Like it's definitely like that moment in and of itself honestly tops most of this show. But like it for as far as Manias go, it's the best Mania we've had in at least 10 years. Like the bar was set pretty low from last year's Mania, so I mean you can't really much. But yeah, I thought it was a good show overall. At least like a 7 or 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Mark, your feelings?
I thought this was the second best overall show after 30. Well, let me rephrase that. Like of the last few shows, this is the best show after 30. Like, no, I wouldn't put this like as one of like the best WrestleManias ever or anything like that, but it was a pretty decent show overall. Like from the WWE Championship match onward, the show kind of
went down
in terms of quality. But overall, like, it had great moments. So it had some memorable moments that, like, you know, you had the AJ Shane match, you had Undertaker's retirement, obviously, you had Naomi finally getting her things. So yeah, I mean, like, overall, it was a good show. It had enough good moments, and then like just enough good wrestling that it kind of like you don't. Like, the bad stuff about the show doesn't really linger in your head too much. Like, the main thing that really sticks with me, unfortunately, is the Wyatt Orton match. But aside from that, like, the rest of the so-so stuff doesn't, like, really linger in your head.
Wait, Kirk, your thoughts on WrestleMania as a whole?
It's one of the best ones of recent memory. Feeling a decent to light 7. How do you feel? Did you give this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You the best, you the best. What should I review next? And transition.
James Curtano here. The internet's busiest wrestling nerd.
Anyway, I want to make a quick what's it called? It's not prologue. Epilogue? That's it. I want to make a quick epilogue and just briefly talk about the bigger moments that happened in SmackDown and Raw after Mania. The first one being, I'll start off with Raw. Kurt Angle was announced as new GM over for Mick Foley, since Vince said that Steph's going to be out of commission, since she fell on a freaking table. Kurt Angle's the new GM. New Day issued an open challenge, and that challenge was answered by the debuting Revival, and they won. They beat the team of Big E and Xavier. I think they hit the Shatter Machine, and they proceeded to
that reversal spot real quick. That reversal spot they did when Xavier rolled up on him.
That shit was nice.
So good and so clean.
I'm so excited for the Revival being on Raw. It's gonna be great. It's just like that, and then with the Hardys, it just basically made the Raw tag team division like must-see TV. And I do like that they're sticking with the whole heel thing because after the match, they just attacked Kofi and proceeded to kayfabe break his leg. Yes. So we'll see what happens next. Also, I love that small touch that they did when they showed up to the ring and tipped over the ice cream truck. And they're yelling about it now. Yeah. Like on Instagram, they have like RIP Ice Cream Truck 2017 to 2017. The Hardys, they had their rematch against Anderson and Gallows. The Hardys won, and Finn Balor finally made a return. He partnered up with Seth Rollins after Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens. They took out Chris Jericho by slamming him through a table, but that one shot of Finn Balor where he does his whole pose thing and everyone behind him does it. It's such a beautiful shot. And I'm so happy that he's back. But and then on SmackDown, on the other hand, the Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton match is that feud's still going. And hey, you know who's back? Big Red, Eric Rowan. So on the return scale, you got Finn Balor and Eric Rowan, But on the other hand, in terms of debuts, they got Ty Dillinger answering the open challenge by one Kurt Hawkins. And Miz and Maurice, they were doing their promo as John Cena and Nikki Bella. When the one and only Shinsuke Nakamura finally decides to show up on the Blue brand, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Naomi and Alexa Bliss, they had their rematch for the Women's Championship, and it was a really solid matchup. And Naomi retained her title. And, as you mentioned, Ish mentioned earlier, Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose, they had this street fight. And it was, a street fight. It was nothing, that rivalry's dead. But, for what it is what it is.
Ty Dillinger.
Oh, I mentioned Ty Dillinger.
Oh.
You answered the open challenge, Kurt Hawkins' open challenge. But as for what it is, I'm happy that Ty Dillinger and Nakamura on SmackDown, because I feel like they'd be a much better fit on there, especially Nakamura, because SmackDown needs some star power, especially like the rumors considering superstar shakeup, aka the mini draft. If those are true, AJ's going to Raw, and Nakamura desperately is the star power that. And Raw is fine. Like Kurt Angle, it's gonna be great to see him interact with, especially with like the newer people, because like they had that one great bit on Raw where he was talking to Enzo and Cass, and Enzo and Cass did the whole like SAWFT soft thing, and as soon as they leave, he's like, yeah, and it takes like 5 minutes. Like, wait a minute, that's not how you spell soft.
Oh yeah,
I miss that kind of like those interactions that Kurt Angle had. We're just kind of naive, so. I'm glad that like that's gonna happen with like newer people. It's gonna be good to see.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm excited and nervous for the prospect of both shows. But anyway, you guys have any additional thoughts on the Aftermanias?
I thought the shows were kind of surprisingly underwhelming. Not necessarily bad, but just, you normally expect more stuff to happen. But I think they kind of decided to tread water a little bit because they have the quote-unquote shake-up next week. Mm-hmm. So I guess they decided that we're not going to do as much so that we can make way for whatever the hell, they're going to do on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing back ECW.
Oh, shut up.
Shut up. Two things. First off, you forgot to mention the whole AJ thing, where AJ and Shane they shook hands because AJ gained respect for Shane after that match at Mania. And now the other thing, I want to mention was what Kurt just said, the EW thing. When we were at Access, Paul Heyman showed up and he had a promo, and someone was like, "Listen, if you could bring back two people from ECW, who would you bring back?" And the first thing Heyman says, like, "No, listen, ECW's dead. Like, it's done. No more. No more." Although he said one of them would be, did he say? I believe he said one of them was Charlotte. The other one, do you remember who the other person he said he drafted from ECW?
He said Charlotte and fuck, I forgot.
Yeah, no, it was a
Nakamura?
good promo. If we could find it, was it Nakamura?
Maybe.
Maybe whatever, but it was a small thing. But yeah. Anyway, and Kirk, you guys have any thoughts on the after shows?
No. Just
So you didn't watch them?
You didn't watch them?
but nah. Y'all touched on everything pretty cool. Like besides the big things that happened, there was nothing really that just wowed me.
That's true.
Same. My biggest comment is SmackDown was stronger, honestly. At least in my opinion. Like sure, Kurt Angle, cool. Finn Balor, amazing, but like Shinsuke Nakamura is enough for me.
Eric Rowan.
Yeah,
Eric
Blue Brand's already going in the right direction.
Yeah, like
of all.
Shinsuke to SmackDown, we're one step closer to Shinsuke versus AJ Styles. We're one step closer to Shinsuke versus John Cena, and like,
oh my god,
I'm just saying.
Shinsuke versus Mojo Rawley. Oh my goodness, it's going down WrestleMania 34.
Oh god, no, God,
Battle
no.
Royal trophy.
Yep, 34 in a Punjabi prison match.
Fuck.
But no, seriously though, if they want money, Shinsuke versus Cena has to be a Mania 34. Like that has to be a thing.
I'd pay for that.
Yep. Anyway, that actually, want to do your reading, Rainbow?
Yes, I'm gonna. Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep it short because I have to pee. So I want to give a special shout out to some of these racist, misogynist fans on Cage Side Seats. And this is nothing against Cage Side Seats itself, because I will say the Cage Side Seats, as far as a platform that's run by white men, it's actually a pretty good wrestling community. Like they do really well with filtering out misogyny and homophobia and all that shit. Because anytime you have like a legion of like wrestling fans, there's a lot of dudes who are just talking about your like toxic masculine bullshit. So the comment sections are normally like about as good as you can possibly expect for a website that's run by like cishet men, so white men at that. So it's nothing against Cage Side Seats itself, but there were like they did their SmackDown recap, and there were like 2 or 3 people. Like it was all set off because there was this one person who posted a comment talking about how, like, so one of the things that's likely going to happen with this shakeup is Charlotte's going to go to SmackDown, and one of the people were like, they posted a comment like, I can't wait. Basically paraphrasing was like, I can't wait for Charlotte to get to SmackDown so she can squash Naomi and get the title off of her as soon as possible. So then that sparked the whole conversation of like, okay, but why would you take the title off Naomi? Because she's actually over and she's having good matches, so why the hell would you do that? And then it was just like bunch of back and forth. So it was like 2 or 3 wrestling fans. I don't know what their race was. I don't know what any. I don't know who these people were because I mean they're behind usernames. So
Mhm.
and it doesn't matter. I mean, like if we're talking about a dark skinned black woman here, so like it could be black dudes who are saying all this shit. There's no telling. But like
Yeah.
they were talking about all this shit about like Naomi's not really over and well it was just because she was in front of the Orlando crowd and the matches weren't really that good and then like people were like all pissed off because they were like oh well Becky should have been getting this push and like all of this rant just reaching just random bullshit and I'm just like okay so
Becky
why
had the push though.
yes I'm like but Becky was like the fucking inaugural champion. They clearly wanted to build a division around her. It's not their fault that Becky fucking dropped the ball and she just wasn't that good. Like, we're not gonna sit here and act like Becky like didn't get every opportunity in the book to like actually carry the division and she just dropped the ball and it is what it is. And Naomi swooped in, she picked it up and she performed well. She got over like it took a few years, but she hit on something that actually got over with the audience and the fans loved it. And her wrestling got way better. Her ring psychology got better. Her commitment to her character and everything, like her mic skills, it just she's hitting on every single cylinder possible. So we're not going to sit here and discredit her and act like, oh well, she's only over because of Orlando. Like actually, no, she was getting cheers well before Orlando, and we're not. And also, just because you're in Orlando, like this is WrestleMania week, so like it's not going to be just people who are in Orlando in the audience. She's clearly over with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
it's just another one of those things where it's like, you have a black woman who's doing really well, and people are really resentful of it, and it's obvious they're very resentful because they're reaching for reasons for her, like, to discredit her and be like, oh well, she's only doing well because of this and this and this. And well, if Becky was getting all of these shots, then I bet that she'd be successful. Like, first of all, Becky did get those shots and she just flopped in all of them. It's not like that's her own damn fault. And then also, like, it was funny reading those responses because it's like it was almost like they felt like Becky was entitled to Naomi's push. Like, why would you push Naomi when you can push Becky the same way? I'm like, well, why not? Like, why not push Naomi if she's over and the fans are actually into her act? And plus she's worked her ass off all these years. But it's like it's like they're more comfortable with Naomi being like a bit player in the background while like Becky is up front and getting all of the spotlight. But that was the case at one point. But again, she got an opportunity and she didn't do well with it. So now here we are. Like, you can't get mad at Naomi for taking an opportunity that Becky dropped the ball with. So it is what it is. Get mad all you want. Keep crying. But this black girl magic is going to continue to glow all over your ass and you're just going to deal with it. How about that?
Yo.
So I am going to enjoy the fuck out of this flow era for as long as it lasts. I am going to take in all this black girl magic, and I am going to hope. Like, I am currently keeping my fingers crossed that we can get some kind of a moment where Naomi, Sasha, and Ember Moon are all champions at the same time, so we can just get like a black girl magic just takeover. Because there was a point where, like, would you have ever thought there would be a point where there were this many black women who are actually like dominating in the division and doing so well? Like that's just like you just never would have thought that would have happened. So I'm enjoying this black girl magic era in WWE, and I just want it to continue to flourish. And all of you misogynoirists, white supremacist assholes, y'all are just gonna deal with it, and y'all are gonna keep crying your salty ass ocean of tears, and I'm gonna continue using them for my tea and I'm just going to enjoy all this black girl magic, and you're going to deal with it. That's all I had.
And that's the perfect way to end this new episode of the African American Now Table. It has been an epically long episode. I think we're almost like up to 4 hours, so like half of freaking WrestleMania.
For anyone who's watching this for the first time, we do not normally go this long. It's just we had a lot to cover.
Yeah, there's a lot. But again, thank you for watching. Thank you guys for sticking through it, sticking for the whole thing.
Yes, and see y'all again for, I believe, Payback is the next show. Do you know what date that is?
I'm not sure when it is, but we will add updates on when we record new when is it?
April 30th.
Yeah.
April 30th.
I don't think I'm doing anything that weekend.
You will hear a new update from us on our Twitter at AA Announce Table on Twitter, and you'll find out when we'll let you guys know in advance when our new episode is. Until then, you can follow us each of us on like our individual social medias. You can follow me on Twitter at Shaq Excellence. Also for my Instagram, Shaq Excellence, Tumblr, Xbox. Yeah, but where can they find you guys?
They can find me at Lansdale Forever on Twitter and Instagram.
They can find me at Angry Black Homo, not just Homo, HOEMO, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Although Twitter is the main platform that I use, Facebook is like secondary, and I'll post some snaps every now and then. Instagram, that's also there.
You can find me underneath your local bridge.
Exactly accurate.
At some dumpsters, at a McDonald's bathroom. I'm known as the mouth of the South, aka the big goat you get behind the 7-Eleven.
But you know my old thought name.
What do you say?
Mouth of the South was my old thought name.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Just throwing it out there.
All right. You can find me on Twitter at Capitano94 or Snapchat me at Bitter Cocoa Man, all one word.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching this episode of the African American Now Table, and we will see y'all at Payback.
Yeah. Peace.
Doodles.